says almost $300 billion will be in circulation this Christmas.
EPOC Chairman Keith Duncan commends the government for its approach to mitigating the potential risks caused by natural disasters.
Putting in funds in place to ensure that we have coverage of the low and high frequency events, floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes and earthquakes.
Latest police statistics show an 8% drop in murders when compared to last year.
The driver of a Mercedes-Benz SUV which crashed on the Mandela Highway last Saturday, killing a recent university graduate, has been charged.
He was charged for causing death by dangerous driving and refusing to give a sample of his breath.
Oil spill forces the National Irrigation Commission to shut down its Rio Cobra system in St. Catherine.
In news from the rest of the world, minimum wage to rise in Grenada effective New Year's Day.
Catholic priests can now bless unmarried and same-sex couples in one of the biggest shifts in the church's 2,000-year history.
In sports, 5 Jamaicans in West Indies squad for ICC Under-19 World Cup in South Africa.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, questions swirling about the death of a woman originally deemed to have been due to natural causes is now being treated as a murder investigation. What are the protocols involved in the pronouncement of death? And what role do the police play in that process before a body is transported to the morgue? A former Deputy Commissioner of Police and Security Consultant Mark Shields will tell us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what does Christmas mean for you? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
And in the nation's business at 6:14, a significant shift in the church's approach to LGBTQ plus people. Pope Francis has formally permitted Roman Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples. The Archbishop of Kingston, Kenneth Richards, will react to the historic move by Francis.
And at 8, it's Beyond the Diagnosis with Kim and Dr. C.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, December 18, 2023.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Bulwark Insurance Agency. Insurance made easy.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The central bank, the Bank of Jamaica, is projecting that almost $300 billion will be in circulation by the end of the year. This represents a 21% increase over 2022. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
According to the Bank of Jamaica, approximately $283 billion will be in circulation by the end of December this year. That's $44 billion more than the amount in circulation in December 2022. The BOJ says the projected expansion in the money stock this year reflects continued growth in both real gross domestic product (GDP) and the prices of goods and services. It also reflects an increase in vault cash amid a slow return of old currency notes back to the Bank of Jamaica. Vault cash represents the currency held on hand by financial institutions such as commercial banks. When the forecasted change in the general level of consumer prices is considered, the money stock in real terms is projected to increase by 13%. Between December 1 and 15 this year, the stock of currency in the hands of the public and in the vaults of financial institutions was $258 billion. Another $25 billion is expected to be added to that sum over the final 16 days of the month. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, has lauded the government for adopting a layered approach to mitigating potential risks from natural disasters and other catastrophic events. Speaking at EPOC's last quarterly briefing, Mr. Duncan says this principle will ensure that the country can rapidly recover from a disaster. Mahiri Stewart tells us more.
As a small island developing state, the risk Jamaica faces from natural disasters, such as hurricanes and floods, cannot be understated. According to the EPOC chairman, The government has a framework in place to allow the country to recover swiftly in the event disaster strikes.
And the government of Jamaica has adopted a risk-layering approach to financing risks from natural disasters. This involves establishing adequate funds and reserves to retain the costs associated with both low and high frequency events such as floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes, and earthquakes. So it's putting in funds in place to ensure that we have coverage of the low and high frequency events, as we said. I think everybody gets that. Floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes, and earthquakes.
The government maintains a national disaster fund capitalized to the tune of $465 million, along with a contingency fund of $5 billion. This is supported by a line of credit from the Inter-American Development Bank in the amount of $265 million. Mr. Duncan says even with these arrangements in place, the government is still seeking to put in place additional buffers.
The government of Jamaica has another layer natural disaster risk financing strategy is the insurance policy with the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility Segregated Portfolio Company, right? And this insurance policy protects against tropical cyclone or hurricanes, earthquake, and excess rainfall events. Total coverage under this policy for 2023-24 amounts to US $233.9 million.
Climate change has increased the potential risk of major weather events affecting the island. Recent earthquakes have also highlighted vulnerabilities in the government's fiscal management program. Mr. Duncan says the government is taking the right steps to secure the hard-earned gains of recent years.
Then we have the implementation of the first time in the history a small island nation has been able to do this, the catastrophe bond, right? This instrument provides financial protection of up to US $185 million against losses from named storms from 3 Atlantic tropical cyclone seasons ending December 2023. So everybody sees that we are covered, even for earthquakes, that we had our recent tremors and earthquakes in Jamaica, and we are covered as a country based on our Jamaica's national natural disaster risk financing strategy.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
There's been an 8% drop in murders since the beginning of the year. The latest statistics from the Jamaica Constabulary Force show that 1,349 people were killed up to Saturday, December 16. This compares to the 1,469 homicides recorded for the similar period last year. Shaloy Smikle reports.
St. James remains the most murderous police division. The parish has recorded 185 murders since the start of the year. That's 13 fewer than the corresponding period last year. The St. Andrew South Division registered 117 homicides. That's 12 fewer than the same period in 2022. Westmoreland is third, recording 113 murders, 26 fewer than the same period last year. St. Catherine North recorded 112 homicides, 29 fewer than the review period last year, while St. Catherine South recorded 100, 12 fewer than last year. Between January 1 and December 16 this year, 102 murders were recorded in Clarendon. That's 9 more than the corresponding period in 2022. In Hanover, 69 murders have been recorded since the start of the year, 25 more than in the review period last year. St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Catherine and Clarendon, along with the St. Andrew South Police Division, are currently under a state of public emergency. The measure, which took effect on December 8, is expected to run for 14 days. Shaloy Smikle for Nationwide News.
A forensic toxicology report has confirmed that black liquid found in a glass bottle in the office of Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald is sulfuric acid. According to the report tendered into evidence in the Home Circuit Court on Monday, sulfuric acid is a corrosive substance capable of causing burns. Beachy Stout and another man, Oscar Barnes, are on trial for the murder of his second wife, Tonia Hamilton MacDonald, on July 20, 2020. The bottle was seized by the police during a search of Beachy Stout's office at his supermarket Mary Shine Enterprise in Port Antonio, Portland on October 1, 2020. Meanwhile, another forensic toxicology report that was admitted into evidence also confirmed that the liquid contained in a bottle handed over to the police by a man is sulfuric acid. Previously in the trial, it was revealed by a witness that Beachy Stout instructed him to obtain acid to, quote, dismantle Tonia. The witness told the court that he obtained the acid, but claimed he couldn't go through with the plan of dousing Tonia with acid because she was very beautiful. The witness said he instead brought the bottle of acid to the Port Antonio police station, where he handed it over to the police. Tonia's partially burnt body was discovered with its throat slashed on the Tallington Main Road in Sherwood, Portland. Her car was set ablaze. The trial will resume on Tuesday morning at 10.
Head of the Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, says several individuals listed as persons of interest have been taken into custody following a police operation on Sunrise Crescent in St. Andrew. 3 firearms were seized during the operation, which began at 5 this morning.
This operation is in response to some incidents of robbery and shooting, etc. in the general Sunrise, 100 Lane and some Chancery Street area in recent times, where they are targeting some individuals. So far, they have taken a number of persons in custody, some of whom are already persons of interest in previous crimes committed in the space, as well as some persons who are likely to be suspects. We know that of the persons taken into custody, at least one of them will be charged for illegal possession of firearm and other offenses under the Firearm Act, because the gun was found in his actual possession, one of the weapons seized.
The operation was conducted by the St. Andrew North Police, the Caribbean Search Centre, K9 Division, Specialized Operations, and members of the Jamaica Defence Force. The St. Andrew North Division has recorded 249 serious crimes since the start of the year. SSP Lindsay says the joint operations will continue for the rest of this year.
I believe that today's operation is a good indication how the police are pushing forward to reduce the incidence of violence in this particular area. It's a big community, even though it's one address. And I believe that the persons in this residence can breathe a sigh of relief from today for the rest of the year, because these persons and these weapons are no longer a part of the community. So it is commendable that the police are pushing. I know that they are still carrying out operations and still carrying out searches. And they intend to carry this approach to the end of the year, because we really want to see an end to the violence and the robbery and the incidents of shooting in this particular community.
Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, head of the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit.
Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB, Gary McKenzie, says the driver of the Mercedes-Benz motorcar involved in a fatal crash on the Mandela Highway in St. Catherine last Saturday has been charged. The crash claimed the life of 23-year-old Shadidra Williams of Four Paths in Clarendon.
The driver of the Benz motorcar, he was charged for causing death by dangerous driving and refusing to give a sample of his breath for a breathalyzer test, and he is to face the St. Catherine Parish Court on the 6th of February, 2024, that is.
It's reported that Miss Williams recently returned home following her graduation from the University of South Florida in the United States. The 23-year-old was a passenger in the Mercedes-Benz SUV, which crashed into a parked truck. The Benz then collided with a Suzuki Grand Vitara. ACP McKenzie says changes have been made to the vicinity where the crash occurred.
There are questions around the area where the truck was parked, which is on the hard shoulder. From time to time, vehicles will be parked on hard shoulders for various reasons. Based on the report, there have been occasions when trucks are parked on the hard shoulder in that vicinity. We view it as not the best place to be permanently parked, and of course the parking was not necessarily permanent. One of the things that has been done is that we have ensured that that area is no longer an area for even stopping, and that has been ratified by the authorities by the placement of a no stopping sign.
ACP Gary McKenzie, head of the JCF's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
It's my baby's first birthday and I'm having a big party. I've got 1,000 things to do and I have a headache. I took my dependable Advil liquid gels as always. They're strong, fast, and work well for me.
The time by Advil liquid gel is
15 minutes after 5.
Termites and rodents destroying your home or office? Call Rent-A-Kill Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest eradication assessment island-wide.
The temperature brought to you by Rent-A-Kill Initial is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
Let the countdown begin! Beat the clock, hurry up and go buy a Suzuki Tick-Tock. Purchase a Suzuki Vitara, Grand Vitara or XL7 from now to December 22, 2023 from as low as $4.75 million. And drive into the festive season with 5 years warranty, free vehicle tracking and free servicing. Act fast and beat the clock for this offer. Available until December 22, 2023 or while stocks last. Only at Stewart's Automotive Group, South End Road, Kingston and Iron Shore Bay. Everything must go! We're open Saturday, December 2nd, 9th and 16th. Conditions apply.
From advice, you don't know Lali Shot and Tali. And I have a message from Bank of Jamaica to the entire Jamaica. That you know two grand. Hey, if you make change for the 5 grand, 5 grand. Now if you travel with a bag of 1,000, just use the brand new 2 grand. Bank of Jamaica, if you tell you this, the new note, don't stress them. Wash or bleach them. Don't iron or exposed to each friend. Don't ripen or experiment. Don't crease and don't crush them. Don't bore them, just store them. The new note them. The new note them. The new note them. Hey, from advice you don't know Lali Shot and Tali. And that was a message from Bank of Jamaica. The OJ, them deaf, them better listen to this. Hey, yeah. I didn't you know them. Hey, I didn't you know them. 50, 100, and 5, 1,000. Polymer notes, and the 5 grand. I didn't you know them, bang. Hey, I didn't you know them, yeah.
Continuing the news, the National Irrigation Commission Limited NIC says following last week's oil spill, it has shut down the Rio Cobre irrigation system in St. Catherine. The Commission says recent assessments indicate potential risks to the water quality in the Rio Cobre. It says this is what prompted it to take proactive measures. The Commission says it prioritizes the well-being of its farmers and the importance of a secure and reliable irrigation system. It says that the temporary suspension is a precautionary step taken to safeguard against any potential adverse effects on the crops of the farmers that utilize the system. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has served an enforcement notice on Tradewind Citrus, the owners of the property from which oil reportedly found its way into the Rio Cobre.
The National Works Agency NWA has announced traffic changes in Port Antonio, Portland over the holiday season. The changes take effect Wednesday, December 20 and are set to expire on Wednesday, January 3, 2024. Vehicles traveling easterly into Port Antonio will enter through the marina, which will operate as a one-way street. Vehicles traveling westerly will use West Street to exit Port Antonio. Somerstown Road will be converted to a one-way street traveling south. Vehicles traveling northerly from Somerstown Road will turn right at the intersection onto East Palm Avenue, then merge with the traffic on Allen Avenue. No vehicle will be allowed beyond the intersection of Norman and Somerstown Road. These vehicles will be directed onto Allen Avenue. Single-lane parking will be enforced along Fort George Street. Motorists are further being advised to observe the instructions of posted directional signs.
And the National Works Agency is advising motorists in St. Thomas that the traffic lights at the junction to enter and leave the community of Grandspen are now operational. The signals have been erected as part of the multi-billion-dollar Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Program.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, equipping Jamaica for success. Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute
In Grenada, several categories of workers will benefit from an increase in the minimum wage effective January 1, 2024. Effective New Year's Day, the minimum salary to any working person will be no less than 1,200 EC dollars per month or 60 EC dollars per day. 1 EC dollar is equal to $57.47 Jamaican. The increase will benefit industrial security guards, domestic workers, caregivers of the elderly, workers in bakeries, agricultural workers, construction workers, shop assistants, and workers in the hospitality industry. The last time changes were made to the minimum wage was in 2011.
Pope Francis has approved a ruling allowing priests to bless unmarried and same-sex couples in a significant change for the Catholic Church. A report from the Vatican's doctrinal office says such blessings would be permitted, albeit with caveats. The report says it will be possible to bless same-sex couples but without any type of ritualization or offering the impression of a marriage. Despite the limitations, the announcement marks a significant step forward by the Vatican, which in 2021 said the Catholic Church could not bless same-sex couples as God does not bless sin. One Vatican observer described the move as likely the most concrete pastoral shift on the Church's stance towards gay couples in the Church's 2,000-year history.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories in nationwide news at this hour, the Central Bank, the Bank of Jamaica, says almost $300 billion will be in circulation this Christmas.
EPOC Chairman Keith Duncan commends the government for its approach to mitigating the potential risks caused by natural disasters.
Putting in funds in place to ensure that we have coverage of the low and high frequency events, floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes, and earthquakes.
Latest police statistics show an 8% reduction in murders when compared to last year.
The driver of a Mercedes-Benz SUV which crashed on the Mandela Highway last Saturday, killing a recent university graduate, has been charged.
He was charged for causing death by dangerous driving and refusing to give a sample of his breath.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. Headlines next at 6.
Power in great moments. If you have financial needs, Chris and Charles will fix them for you. Power in great moments since 1992. Oh, we have it all. Power in great moments. Relax, you got Chris and Charles. Oh, we have it all. When you think loans, think Chris and Charles.
Mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever. Common symptoms of dengue include fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle pain, joint pain, skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. If you feel you have dengue fever, visit your doctor or health center, rest, drink lots of fluids, use only paracetamol for pain. Do not take aspirin or other painkillers. Protect yourself from dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former champions Harborview, they're leading the promoted side, the Lime Hall Academy 2-0 at sports time in their Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game at Stadium East. David Reed headed the Stars of the East in front after only 2 minutes in the game, but Shaquille Bradford added the second on minute number 11. Both teams are struggling at the wrong end of the table in 12th and 13th places, and they're seeking to move further away from the relegation zone. The second game of today's doubleheader will feature Waterhouse against Treasure Beach at 7:30. The two English teams left in the European Champions League received the dream draws as a round of 16 pairings were revealed today. Champions Manchester City, they were drawn against Danish champions FC Copenhagen, while Arsenal will face the 2004 Jose Mourinho champions FC Porto. Copenhagen, who finished above Manchester United in the group stage, is reaching the knockout stage for the first time since 2011. The first legs will take place February 13 or 14 or 20 and 21. The second on March 5 or 6 or 12 and 13. City and Arsenal are seeded, meaning they'll play the second leg at home. Record 14-time winners Real Madrid will take on RB Leipzig, while Internazionale of Milan, the runners-up of last season, will play Atletico Madrid, and Bayern Munich will take on Lazio. The final will take place on June 1 at Wembley in London. Head coach of Jamaica's under-20 men's football team, John Wall, is looking at 4 top quality practice games in January and February of next year as part of the team's preparation for the CONCACAF Youth Championships. Jamaica has been drawn in Group F along with Bermuda, Grenada and Martinique for the championships to be held February 23 to March 2 of 2024. The 27 teams have been split into 3 groups of 5 and 3 groups of 4. Wall says if the games materialize, the players should be ready for the tournament.
My intention is to utilize players from Jamaica and North America, and furthermore, heading into February, prior to the qualifiers, being on a camp, playing and added 2 more friendlies that are of a higher or even more interesting level. So we would be prepared for the qualifiers, and that's meaning then you will be able to utilize more of a bigger pool of players.
John Wall. The 5-match T20 International Series between West Indies and England moves to Trinidad and Tobago as the teams meet in the 4th game at the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba tomorrow. The game's set to bowl off at 3 o'clock Jamaica time. The West Indies will be looking to close out the series as a contest, having won the first 2 games but suffered a heartbreaking 7-wicket defeat in Game 3. The Caribbean team is expected to go in with the same 11 which played in the previous 3 games as they look for a series win over the world champions. England, who were led to victory by a stunning century from the consistent Phil Salt on Saturday in Grenada, will again turn to the opener for the bulk of their runs contribution, with the likes of Captain Just Butler, Sam Curran and Harry Brook looking to push the series to a 5th and deciding game. West Indies captain Rovman Powell is looking to his big hitters to take them over the line.
The world know that we as Caribbean batters are power hitters. We try to keep working at our power game to see if we can be a touch better than the world in terms of power game, because they are a lot better than us in getting singles and that. So it's always us working on our strengths in trying to hit sixes, but we have to try to mix it with a little bit of smart and try to bat the spinners properly. If we control the power play, it will be difficult with our spinners in the middle overs because it's not such a placid wicket.
Rovman Powell, Liam Livingston say the English must be prepared to take risks as the surfaces in the Caribbean vary from island to island.
It's difficult because the surfaces are so different out here. It almost seems like the risks you take, you've got to try and hit them for 6 because the outfields aren't exactly rapid and there's not, the grounds are pretty small. So yeah, I guess we talk about being aggressive but also being as smart as we can. And I think sometimes the smart option is actually to try and hit 6s, which sounds weird.
Liam Livingston. Finally in sports at this time, 5 Jamaicans, including the brilliant Wilmerian Jordan Johnson, were today named in the West Indies squad for the ICC Under-19 World Cup in South Africa, January 19 to February 11 next year. Johnson is actually one of only 3 members of the 2022 squad who are returning. The others are Isaiah Thorne and Nathan Edward. The other Jamaicans gaining selection to the squad are Deshaun James, Adrian Ware, Steve Wedderburn and Tariq Edwards. A 6th Jamaican, Tamari Redwood, who plays for Kensington, was a member of the training squad in Antigua, but he missed out on selection for the World Cup. So 6 Jamaicans in contention, 5 made it, 1 didn't. CEO of Jamaica Cricket Association, Courtney Francis, says this is evidence that the investment in the youth program is reaping the desired results.
I am very elated, and this is part of the strategic plan of the JCA to ensure that our base is strong, and we've invested heavily in our youth programs. And by us having 5 out of the 6 players making the West Indies team is very heartening.
Francis has got lots more to say on the selection of the 5 Jamaicans, but you'll hear from him in our next sportscast at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:31.
Love, care for, and protect our women and girls.
We are your family. We are your friends. Don't hurt us.
End violence against women and girls.
The temperature by the Office of the Prime Minister is
27 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 26 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Drive into Christmas with a brand new Hyundai vehicle with no loan payment until May 2024. Yes, Hyundai pays for your first 5 loan payments, plus 2 years free service, 5 years warranty, and 0 processing fees. No more waiting on taxis or hitching rides. Get your Hyundai vehicle with 5 free payments on Duro this Christmas. Limited time offer while stocks last. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Keep all doors locked and windows closed while in or out of your vehicle. This Christmas safety tip is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
If there was a time to think about your future, to think about securing you and your family, to start that journey, that time is now with people you can trust. At Bulwark Insurance Agency, service is not what we do. It's who we are. We understand what it means to work together to exceed your expectations. Bulwark Insurance Agency. Insurance made easy.
We can light up your world with the rays of the sun, putting pure energy in the palm of your hand.
For over 20 years, Fosrich has been putting a world of energy in your hands. Now we bring you big savings with our line of solar energy products and LED lighting. Financing now available for all your home and commercial retrofit projects. Consult with our in-house staff or certified professional engineers for all your electrical needs. Fosrich Lifestyle. It's electric. Fosrich, your energy world.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister. Applications are now open for the Jamaica House Fellowship Program. Get first-hand high-level experience in the operations of the public sector and an opportunity to support and implement high-priority initiatives of the government of Jamaica for 2 years. Visit the OPM website at www.opm.gov.jm to apply and for more information. The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
PriceSmart offers a comprehensive eye exam for you and up to 3 guests at no additional cost. Get everything under one roof: electronics, groceries, meats, bakery, home products, and much more. We're open Mondays to Saturdays 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. until December 23. Too busy to visit us at Red Hills Road or Brayton Parkway? Then click and go through our app or visit our website at pricesmart.com 7 days a week. PriceSmart. One membership, many benefits.
Waiting on your receivables, waiting to purchase raw material to fulfill your next order, waiting to get paid for goods already sold, 60 days, 90 days, invoices way past due. What if you could be insured for up to 85% of your domestic and foreign receivables, so that if you don't get paid on time, your biggest priority, your business, will not have to wait? Trade credit insurance. Insurance worth having. Credit without waiting. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Select tools, free parts and free repairs. 3 parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. built to supply. We service what we sell.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Christmas in the air, special time of year when we share with those we hold dear. Friends and family gather round the tree, making memories with rice and gunga peas. Peace and goodwill this season with fellowship and sharing, fun, kindness and love to everyone. Sharing good tidings along with Christmas pudding. Merry, 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 merry Christmas from Multilink.
Good afternoon. 24 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon. My name is George Davis.
Good afternoon, George.
Yeah, man. Good afternoon, man.
Well, in our cover story this afternoon, the killing of Mrs. Melissa Silvera on November 10. Questions are swirling over how she died and how the processing of that crime scene took place. You'll recall on November 10, we were told that Mrs. Melissa Silvera died in her sleep. Now we're learning that it is the subject of a murder investigation.
And so, what are the protocols involved in the pronouncement of death? What role do the police and other first responders play in that process before a body is transported to the morgue?
We're being joined by a former Deputy Commissioner of Police and the Managing Director of Shields Crime and Security Consultants, Mark Shields. Good afternoon, Mr. Shields.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, George.
Afternoon.
Happy Christmas and all that.
Same to you.
Before we go, Cliff, I think it's necessary to just for the benefit of the listeners and those watching us on YouTube to say that clearly we are not investigating Mrs. Silvera's death here.
No.
Neither are we trying that. That's for the court. That's for the police and the investigators.
Right.
But there are very important questions to ask and answer about the protocols that attach to this process of pronouncement of death at a death scene and what differentiates a death scene from a crime scene and how police personnel are trained to operate and think. Hence our decision to invite the former Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime to the program today.
All right. Having said that, Mr. Shields, help us now. People are questioning what are the steps that all first responders, and in particular the police, should take in such circumstances where someone has died.
Well, that's correct, Cliff. Unless it's absolutely clear, for example, with a shooting or where there's a report there's actually been a murder, any sudden death is initially treated as suspicious. The fact is that with any crime scene, you have to get it right first time. And that's something that I've said to officers over years and years. Get it right first time, because the scene of a crime will only exist in its original state once. And therefore, it is so important that you do absolutely everything correctly, that you record the scene correctly and gather as much information as possible. Because once the scene is gone, that's it. There's no going back. That means that the first officer on the scene has some very serious responsibilities. That may well be a uniform officer, and the person there, first and foremost, is really to determine whether that person is alive or dead. But of course, a police officer can't do that. Sometimes it might be totally obvious. If it's a decomposing body, quite clearly the person is dead. But if the person it may be breathing, it's important that officer establishes, is the person alive, and to get medical attention there as soon as possible. Because clearly the police first priority always is to preserve life. And once that has been done, it may be that we're moving the victim to the hospital as soon as possible. If, on the other hand, medical assistance arrived and a doctor declares the person is dead, then the scene will be processed. That's very, very, very important. That means securing the scene. If it's in any way an unexplained death, which means it could be murder, it could be suspicious, or it may be suicide, it may be natural causes. But if it's unexplained, it must be treated in such a way that it is a crime scene. And that means preserving that scene, ensuring that nobody goes near to the body, that nothing is touched, that every effort is made to preserve it until such time as scene of crime arrive with an investigating officer, and then they will begin the process of going through some very clear steps. As I said, you'll never get the scene back. So one of the most important things is to photograph the scene, to take sketch maps, to make a videograph of the scene, to gather all of that evidence, to look for anything which might be related to the deceased around that crime scene. They're really the first steps that will be taken.
So in an instant case where it's the crime scene is now in a house, in a room, the members of that household are not permitted to go there.
Once the police have arrived, and if they've assessed that it, as I said, it's an unexplained death, then yes, we would keep everybody from that room. We'd even keep, nosy senior officers or other police officers away from the scene. The only people that would go into a house, which would be cordoned from the outside, there'd be a uniform officer on the outside of the house. The house would be unoccupied, emptied of anybody in there, and then they would keep a log for anyone going in there, from the investigator, scene of crime, and only critical people involved in the investigation will be allowed into that scene. And when they go into the scene, they will be dressed accordingly in order that they do not shed any of their own DNA or anything else from their bodies once they go into that crime scene to contaminate it. So every precaution will be taken. As I've said, the important thing is when it's not clearly a murder investigation, in other words, there's not a knife or multiple gunshot wounds, one cannot be too careful. One has to treat it as an unexplained death, treat it as a crime scene, because afterwards, if one finds out that, in fact, it is natural causes or some other incident, then it's easy to wind the thing down. But it's very, very difficult once you've created a situation where the crime scene or the scene has been trampled on to ramp it up again later on back into a crime scene, because one tends to lose so much evidence.
You said that they should not be allowed in, and if they are allowed in, they must be dressed accordingly.
Absolutely.
What do you mean by that, dressed accordingly?
Well, dressed accordingly means that they would wear a suit, it's normally a white suit, covered headgear as well to prevent hairs or anything else coming from the body. And then you would wear guards overshoes, all of which would be taken out of a package, would already be sterilized, so that no DNA or other evidence can be transported into the scene.
So if as you say, Mr. Shields, that every scene of an unexplained death is treated as a crime scene, and effectively you're saying that the officers are effectively working backwards from that premise to satisfy themselves if this is indeed a crime committed or person died just naturally, so we move on. Is every are police personnel trained in the basic response in a scenario like that?
Every police officer in the world, I've said this so many times, standard operating procedures around so many aspects of policing, they are international standards. One doesn't have one standard in one country and one standard in another. Everything I've said to you applies to Jamaica, United Kingdom, Canada, United States, anywhere in the world. The same protocols have to be followed, because if they're not followed, then of course we can get to scene degradation, loss of evidence, and possibly even a loss of a case as well in extreme circumstances if the evidence is tampered with. And don't forget, there's also a question of chain of custody. That means that anything that is removed from the scene, that there must be integrity to the exhibits. That includes the body. That would mean that one officer who perhaps found the body would then accompany that body to the mortuary, where it will be sealed, and that officer would go back again in order to identify the same body for the purposes of a post-mortem. So chain of custody is very important, particularly in relation to the victim, but also anything else that's found at the scene has to be treated with the utmost care in order that we do not lose that chain of custody and have it challenged to the court at a later date.
Hold it right there for us. We're going to take a quick break and come right back. This is the Nationwide Cover Story.
Set your table just the way you like it, with those who mean the most. Set your table with Eve, the first family of fine foods.
The temperature by Eve is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
Christmas in the air, special time of year when we share with those we hold dear. Friends and family gather round the tree, making memories with rice and gunga peas. Peace and good in this season. with Christmas pudding. Merry, 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 merry Christmas from Multi-Link.
Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited are authorized distributors of international brands ABB, Omron, STC, Fluke, Festo, and Thomas & Betts. They supply programmable logic controllers, photoelectric and proximity sensors, contactors and soft starters, power supplies, variable frequency drives, and much more. Visit them at 24 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston, or shop 32 Overton Plaza, 46 Union Street, Montego Bay, or visit their website cleasling.net. Cleasing Industrial Supplies for all your industrial automation and control solutions.
When you speak, we listen.
We listen to all your stories
About how your business was started.
and every step along the journey to make it applicable to the problems you solve every day.
We have also listened to your cries for help.
The narrative surrounding limited cash flow.
Extended payment terms for buyers who just can't meet your 30-day credit term this month.
Next month,
And the month after that, we are here to help.
we have created Exim Express receivables financing so that your most important jobs get done.
With a turnaround time of 7 days and up to 75% of your receivables covered with no collateral or financials needed, you know you're in good hands. Exim Bank. By helping businesses, we save lives and livelihood.
Welcome back to the Nationwide Cover Story. You're listening to, well, my name is George Davis.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
All right, so a statement has just come to hand from the People's National Party, Team PNP, regarding the development in the investigation into the death of Melissa Silvera. And I'll just read the statement for you. Have your copy, Cliff?
No.
Not yet, all right. The People's National Party, it says, acknowledges with grave concern the recent developments regarding the tragic passing of Melissa Silvera. We express our deepest sympathies to the family and friends affected by this distressing event. We firmly believe in the rule of law and support the ongoing investigation by law enforcement agencies to ascertain the truth behind Melissa's untimely death. At this time, it is imperative to allow the authorities to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into this matter. We reaffirm our commitment to justice and the trust in the legal process to provide clarity and closure in this tragic situation. Dr. Dayton Campbell, PNP General Secretary. So the PNP speaking about this issue for the first time since the investigation took a turn from what was originally communicated to now being a full-blown murder investigation. We have with us former Deputy Commissioner of Police and Managing Director at Shields Crime and Security Consultants, Mark Shields.
Mr. Shields, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yes. So going back to the protocols, the procedures to be observed, yes, when the police are called to say, listen, there is a case here of sudden death, yes? Is it normal, usual for one police person to turn up? Or would it be a group or team one?
Well, it depends on so many different circumstances, Cliff. You know, it would depend on where the body is. It would depend whether it was in a public place, because clearly crime scenes need to be protected. I say crime scene or any scene where there is a body, clearly the scene has to be protected. So I think it would be highly unusual for one person, for one officer to turn up, because there were going to be other issues around finding witnesses, even in the circumstances that it was perhaps it transpires that the thing was an accident or something, that there would be witnesses, there would be house-to-house inquiries to make. There is a scene to preserve. And then, of course, you'll be waiting for investigators from the Criminal Investigation Department to arrive in order that they can conduct their initial investigation. It would not be left to one officer, in my opinion. I can't think of any circumstances where that would be the case. It would always require people with different skills to attend the scene in order to conduct their part of the business. But initially, I think in 9 times out of 10, where a body has been found, it's normally a patrolling uniform or operational officer or officers that would attend the scene, make that initial assessment, where necessary, of course, to call for medical attention, and then to go on from there by informing the Criminal Investigation Department, Scene of Crime, etc., and the whole process starts.
And it's on that point I want to pick you up, because I want, for the benefit of the listeners and the viewers, Mark Shields, to just give them a visualization of what happens with what you've said from you started this interview up to this point. So I'm saying, when the police personnel respond to a situation of a body at a death scene, let's call it that, and they arrive, what, according to the playbook, are they obliged to do first? When are they then obliged to call medical personnel? When are they obliged to call the morgue? Do they communicate to the medical personnel by telling them an approved thing? Do they say anything to the morgue people? Do the morgue people just come and upon the instruction of the police and or medical personnel at the scene, move the body at that time? I want it like that, if you please.
Well, yeah, we can drill down into detail as much as you like, but basically, if a police officer arrives at the scene where there is a body, there's a report of somebody dead, the first thing is to establish, is that person actually deceased? Are they dead? A police officer is not a doctor or a nurse or a paramedic and cannot make that decision. So the first thing they're going to do is to establish, can they do anything in terms of their own skill? Because it may be the person is unconscious. Police officers are trained in basic first aid techniques. So they would check to see if the person is breathing, check to see if there is a pulse, and certainly would be calling for medical assistance at that scene in order that they could perhaps, through their biggest priority, which is to preserve life. If at that stage it's clear that the person is dead, then until we can establish the cause of death, it will be treated as an unexplained death, and every process that I've already been through, which is one, preserving the scene, keeping the scene uncontaminated, keeping people out of the scene, calling the CIB, calling the scene of crime officers, ensuring the doctor stays there in order that that doctor can speak to the investigators, in order that we can establish a complete chain of events. They're things that must be done. Of course, cordoning off that scene, and as I've mentioned, not allowing anybody into that scene that shouldn't be there. Incidentally,
but it's on that, and that's what I'm saying. So you say call CIB and the doctor. Who gets called first? Does the
of course, the doctor. The doctor must get called first,
yes,
because the priority is to save life, to preserve life. Police officers don't do that. That's what medics do. So the first call in those instances where you found somebody, you're checking for vital statistic, for pulse, for breathing or anything else at all. But even if you do not find any breathing and you feel that you cannot do anything else, you must inform the medical staff almost at the same time, but certainly as a priority to try and save life. Because we cannot say, as a police officer or as any other member of the public, without the proper training to say that somebody is formally deceased. That's the job of a doctor
and the
or a paramedic.
And the police responding, they don't, you say check for signs of life, but they don't examine a body looking for anything else but for signs of life.
No, they would check for signs of life. And as I said, let's go for the category where it's quite clear the person is dead. In other words, turn up at the scene and there's a huge knife sticking out of the chest or multiple gunshot wounds. Clearly the person is dead, so I think common sense then dictates that we have a crime scene. We'd still call a doctor. A doctor has to pronounce the person is dead. A police officer cannot do that. But of course, in those circumstances, at the same time, it's simultaneous. This is a murder. It's a suspicious death. Got multiple gunshot wounds, multiple stabbings, etc. Clearly, that's a crime scene. But in my opinion, if it is not clear, if the death is unexplained, it must be treated as a crime scene until such time as we satisfy ourselves that it's not. Because there's no going back. One has to preserve the evidence at that scene in order for the experts, for the professionals, to make that decision at a later date. And that may not be until we get to the stage of a post-mortem, so that the death can be unexplained all the way through until such time as the post-mortem has been conducted, that body fluids have been taken, blood, stomach, etc. The other organs, vital organs, have been examined, and it may be that we do not know the cause of death for some time. Then it may transpire, of course, the person was poisoned. That's why it's so important that we preserve the scene initially, because we do not know the future. We know the person has died. We don't know how they died, unless it's plainly obvious, such as a car crash or something. But when it's somebody in a house, maybe died in bed or somewhere in the house for sure. We cannot make a determination as to the cause of death. That is down to pathology, to science, and scene of crime.
So, Mr. Shields, you're putting a lot of store on preserving that crime scene until we know exactly what we're dealing with. That means, in this instant case, a house, a home, that room should be locked off until post-mortem, as in this case, weeks after?
Certainly, it would depend, Cliff, on each. Again, it depends on each situation. But the reality is, I've gone through the other processes,
Sure.
which is removing any piece of evidence. The most important thing, having turned up to the scene before anything is touched, I would expect good quality colour photography. I would expect a videographer to come in and actually do a really good video of the whole crime scene, or the scene of the death at least. Certainly the other rooms, because there may have been this is such there's always different scenarios. There may have been a struggle in another room. I'd probably record the whole house, because if it was an unexplained death, it wouldn't just be the room. It could be that something happened in their kitchen before the person ended up in the bedroom. We don't know. As I said, we're speaking so hypothetically because we're speaking in general terms. I don't know anything about this case that you've mentioned at all, to be honest. So I can say with a very clear conscience, I'm speaking extremely generally.
Yeah.
In your experience, Mark Shields, have you ever heard of a situation where someone was said to have died in their sleep, and then it turns out later that that person was the victim of a murder?
That's happened. That sort of thing happens all over the world. It will not be the first if that was the case in anything that happened in Jamaica, and it won't be the last. These things happen, unfortunately. In fact, you hear about cases in the United Kingdom where a nurse killed about 30 babies, and they said the babies died of natural causes, and it wasn't until years later that there was an investigation, and they found that in that particular case, the nurse was literally a mass murderer of babies.
I like that answer. Have you ever seen a situation where someone has been said to have died in their sleep, then found to have been shot multiple times?
Shot multiple times?
Yes.
Absolutely not. No, that's just beyond the realms of ridiculousness. For gunshot wounds, it's very, very clear that there would be entry and exit wounds, or entry wounds at least, probably exit wounds, depending on the caliber of the bullet concerned.
And if you were on this case, some of the basic questions you'd be asking of your investigators who went on the scene and the medical team?
We're talking again in general terms.
Yes, in general terms, yes.
Can you repeat that question just so I understand?
You are the senior investigator. You are in the shoes of the lead investigator. This happened 6 weeks ago. Now you're learning that this was indeed, through a post-mortem, a woman who was murdered. Yes, 3 bullets to the body. What would you be asking of your team?
Well, I'd be asking questions of myself, because if I'm the senior investigating officer, or even a more senior officer, I would have been asking some very basic questions long before that. It wouldn't be 6 weeks later, because all of the questions I would be asking would be on the morning of arriving at work, speaking to the officers at the scene and going through every single part of my checklist to ensure that such a catastrophic error, if it had occurred, could not occur on my watch.
That's it? Any other question?
Nope.
No? Mr. Shields?
Yes? I've nothing else to say unless you've got any further questions.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye.
Okay. That's a cover story. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6 o'clock.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Norgay Banton. The Bank of Jamaica is projecting that almost $300 billion will be in circulation by the end of the year. This represents a 21% increase over 2022. According to the Bank of Jamaica, approximately $283 billion will be in circulation by the end of December this year. That's $44 billion more than the amount in circulation in December 2022. The BOJ says the projected expansion in the money stock this year reflects continued growth in both real gross domestic product (GDP) and the prices of goods and services. It also reflects an increase in vault cash amid a slow return of old currency notes to Bank of Jamaica. Vault cash represents the currency held on hand by financial institutions such as commercial banks. When the forecasted change in the general level of consumer prices is considered, the money stock in real terms is projected to increase by 13%. Between December 1 and 15 this year, the stock of currency in the hands of the public and in the vaults of financial institutions was $258 billion. Another $25 billion is expected to be added to that sum over the final 16 days of the month. Chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, has lauded the government for adopting a layered approach to mitigating potential risks from natural disasters and other catastrophic events. Speaking at EPOC's last quarterly briefing, Mr. Duncan says the principle will ensure that the country can rapidly recover from a disaster. As a small island developing state, the risk Jamaica faces from natural disasters such as hurricanes and floods cannot be understated. According to the EPOC chairman, the government has a framework in place to allow the country to recover swiftly in the event disaster strikes.
And the government of Jamaica has adopted a risk-layering approach to financing risk from natural disasters. This involves establishing adequate funds and reserves to retain the costs associated with both low and high frequency events such as floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes, and earthquakes. So it's putting in funds in place to ensure that we have coverage of the low and high frequency events, as we said. I think everybody gets that. Floods, heavy rainfall, hurricanes, and earthquakes.
The government maintains a natural disaster fund capitalized to the tune of $465 million, along with a contingency fund of $5 billion. This is supported by a line of credit from the Inter-American Development Bank in the amount of $265 million. Mr. Duncan says even with these arrangements in place, the government is still seeking to put in place additional buffers.
The government of Jamaica has another layer natural disaster risk financing strategy is the insurance policy with the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility Segregated Portfolio Company, right? And this insurance policy protects against tropical cyclone or hurricanes, earthquake, and excess rainfall events. Total coverage under this policy for 2023-24 amounts to US $233.9 million.
Climate change has increased the potential risk of major events affecting the island. Recent earthquakes have also highlighted vulnerabilities in the government's fiscal management program. A forensic toxicology report has confirmed that black liquid found in a glass bottle in the office of Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald is sulfuric acid. According to the report tendered into evidence in the Home Circuit Court on Monday, sulfuric acid is a corrosive substance capable of causing burns. Beachy Stout and another man, Oscar Barnes, are on trial for the murder of his second wife, Tonya Hamilton MacDonald, on July 20, 2020. The bottle was seized by the police during a search of Beachy Stout's office at his supermarket, Mary Shine Enterprise in Port Antonio, Portland, on October 1, 2020. Meanwhile, another forensic toxicology report that was admitted into evidence also confirmed that the liquid contained in a bottle handed over to the police by a man is sulfuric acid. Previously in the trial, it was revealed by a witness that Beachy Stout instructed him to obtain acid to dismantle Tonya. The witness told the court that he obtained the acid but claimed he couldn't go through with the plan of dousing Tonya with acid because she was very beautiful. The witness said he instead brought the bottle of acid to the Port Antonio police station where he handed it over to the police. Tonya's partially burnt body was discovered with its throat slashed on the Tallington Main Road in Sherwood, Portland. Her car was set ablaze. The trial will resume on Tuesday morning at 10. Head of the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, says several individuals listed as persons of interest have been taken into custody following a police operation on Sunrise Crescent in St. Andrew. 3 firearms were seized during the operation, which began at 5 this morning.
This operation is in response to some incidents of robbery and shooting, etc., in the general Sunrise, 100 Lane and some Chancery Street area in recent times, where they are targeting some individuals. So far, they have taken a number of persons in custody, some of whom are already persons of interest in previous crimes committed in the space, as well as some persons who are likely to be suspects. We know that of the persons taken into custody, at least one of them will be charged for illegal possession of firearm and other offences under the Firearm Act because the gun was found in his actual possession, one of the weapons seized.
The operation was conducted by the St. Andrew North Police, the Caribbean Search Centre, K9 Division, Specialized Operations, and members of the Jamaica Defence Force. St. Andrew North has recorded 249 serious crimes since the start of the year. SSP Lindsay says the joint operations will continue for the rest of 2023.
I believe that today's operation is a good indication how the police are pushing forward to reduce the incidence of violence in this particular area. It's a big community, even though it's one address. And I believe that the persons in this residence can breathe a sigh of relief from today for the rest of the year because these persons and these weapons are no longer a part of the community. So it is commendable that the police are pushing. I know that they are still carrying out operations and still carrying out searches. And they intend to carry this approach to the end of the year because we really want to see an end to the violence and the robbery and the incidents of shooting in this particular community.
SSP Stephanie Lindsay, head of the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Spruce up your home this holiday season with Unique Living. We have a wide selection of fixtures, from stylish shower systems to elegant faucets, closet pieces, vanities, sinks, shower enclosures, toilets, bathroom and kitchen accessories to upgrade your space. Shop at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading kitchen and bathroom provider for everything new and unique. Visit them at shop number 6, 30 Don Robin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call us at 876-755-3661.
You can do business with JPS from anywhere in the world. With the My JPS mobile app, you can take control of your energy. If you have a smart meter, you can track your energy usage hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly. Stay on top of your usage and make smarter energy decisions. You can also set your budget for the month and skip guesswork. Set it and forget it. No more surprises, no more unexpected bills. Download the My JPS mobile app in the App Store today and do business with JPS your way.
I earn hugs and rewards. I earn smiles and rewards.
Whatever you get from giving your gifts this holiday season is made even better when you use your Sagicor Bank credit card, because you'll earn rewards on every dollar you spend.
I earn.
Dad, you're the best!
Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to do all your holiday spending and earn the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
Make a deal.
Yes, Kemlani Mart is making deals.
Really? Deals like what?
On scratch, dented, new furniture and appliances.
Oh, that's great.
And that's not all. Kemlani Mart has tiles, toilets, doors at crazy low prices.
So I can make a deal on a sofa set?
Of course, and dining room sets, outdoor furniture, ACs and more. No reasonable offer will be refused.
Only at Kemlani Mart, Manor Center and 77 King Street.
I love this place, you see.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Former champions Harborview are leading the promoted Limehall Academy 3-0 at halftime in their Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League game at Stadium East. David Reed headed the Stars of the East in front after only 2 minutes in the game. Before Shaquille Bradford added a second minutes later, Reed was back at it on minute 28 for his second of the game. The teams are struggling at the wrong end of the table in 12th and 13th places, and they're seeking to move further away from the relegation zone. The second game of today's doubleheader will feature Waterhouse against Treasure Beach, that game at 7:30. The two English teams left in the European Champions League received the dream draws as the round of 16 pairings were revealed today. Champions Manchester City, they were drawn against Danish champions FC Copenhagen, while Arsenal will face the 2004 champions FC Porto. Copenhagen, who finished above Manchester United in the group stage, is reaching the knockout stage for the first time since 2011. The first legs will take place February 13 and 14, or 20 and 21, and the second leg March 5, 6, or 12 and 13. City and Arsenal are seeded, meaning they'll play the home legs second. They'll play their second leg at home. The record 14-time winners, Real Madrid, will meet RB Leipzig, while Internazionale of Milan, the runners-up of last season, will play Atletico Madrid, and Bayern Munich will take on Lazio. The final will take place at the Wembley Stadium in London, June 1. Head coach of Jamaica's under-20 men's football team, John Wall, is looking at 4 top-quality practice games in January and February of next year. As part of the team's preparation for the CONCACAF Youth Championships, Jamaica has been drawn in Group F alongside Bermuda, Grenada and Martinique for the championship, to be held February 23 to March 2, 2024. The 27 teams have been split into 3 groups of 5 and 3 groups of 4. Wall says if the games materialize, the players should be ready for the tournament.
My intention is to utilize players from Jamaica and North America, and furthermore, heading into February prior to the qualifiers, being on a camp, playing and added 2 more friendlies that are of a higher or even more interesting level. So we would be prepared for the qualifiers, and that's meaning then you will be able to utilize more of a bigger pool of players.
And Wall explains the talent identification process and evaluation which takes place given for the local and overseas-based players.
It's been a gradual thing, trying to utilize as many people as possible. And the fact that, speaking of that, is that we have assessed, we have reviewed, we have scouted, and actually done the due diligence prior to all of this. And I think, but yet again, I would need to stress, I am human, meaning eventually on the selection day, there will be 1 or 2 players that might have been there, and that's fine. But what I'm interested in is the long haul, how these players can become first-team players for Jamaica.
John Wall. The 5-match T20 International Series between West Indies and England moves to Trinidad and Tobago as the teams meet in the 4th game at the Brian Lara Stadium in Tarouba tomorrow, starting at 3 p.m. Jamaica time. The West Indies will be looking to close out the series as a contest, having won the first 2 games but suffered a heartbreaking 7-wicket defeat in Game 3. The Caribbean team is expected to go in with the same 11 which played in the previous 3 games as they look for a series win over the reigning world champions. England were led to victory by a stunning century from the consistent Phil Salt and Saturday in Grenada, will again turn to the opener for the bulk of the run's contribution, with the likes of Captain Joss Butler, Sam Curran and Harry Brook looking to push the series to a fifth and deciding game, where Sinners captain Robin Powell is looking to his big hitters to take them over the line.
The world know that we as Caribbean batters are power hitters. We try to keep working at our power game to see if we can be a touch better than the world in terms of power game, because they are a lot better than us in getting singles and that. So it's always us working on our strengths in trying to hit sixes, but we have to try to mix it with a little bit of smart and try to bat the spinners properly. If we control the power play, it will be difficult with our spinners in the middle overs because it's not such a placid wicket.
And England's Liam Livingstone said they must be prepared to take risks as the surfaces in the Caribbean vary from island to island.
It's difficult because the surfaces are so different out here. It almost seems like the risks you take, you've got to try and hit them for six, because the outfields aren't exactly rapid and there's not, the grounds are pretty small. So yeah, I guess we talk about being aggressive but also being as smart as we can. And I think sometimes the smart option is actually to try and hit sixes, which sounds weird.
Liam Livingstone, CEO of Cricket Jamaica, that's Courtney Francis. Well, what happened is that 5 Jamaicans were selected to the West Indies team for the ICC Cricket World Cup, and that's next year in South Africa. And Courtney Francis says the investment that the local board has placed in youth cricket in Jamaica is finally paying off.
I am very elated, and this is part of the strategic plan of the JCA to ensure that our base is strong, and we've invested heavily in our youth programs. And by us having 5 out of the 6 players making the West Indies team is very heartening.
And Francis says they plan to continue the investment in youth.
There are additional plans to ensure that we can sustain this level of numbers in the West Indies setup. We would like to be able to do so for not just the youth team, but for the senior teams, also the various senior teams. And we are working assiduous to try our best based on our resources that we have available to ensure that we can maintain at least these numbers or close to these numbers in the future.
Courtney Francis. Tiger Woods believes he can still win on the PGA Tour, but will only play 1 event per month in 2024 as he continues his recovery from ankle surgery. The 15-time major champion has had a limited schedule since suffering a leg injury in a car crash in 2021. He carded a final round of 61 alongside his 14-year-old boy, Charlie, at the PNC Championships in Orlando on Sunday. Woods' last win on the PGA Tour was at the 2019 Zozo Championships in Japan, which saw him equal Sam Snead's record of 82 tour victories. He made his latest injury comeback at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas earlier this month, having withdrawn during the Masters in April before having ankle fusion surgery. The American says his ankle continues to hold up well, though he was still able to use a golf cart at the PNC Championship, something he's not allowed to do on the PGA Tour, as well as playing alongside his son Charlie. Woods' 16-year-old girl, his daughter Sam, was caddying at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club as Team Woods finished 5th, tied for 5th at 36th hole, formerly known as the Father-Son Challenge. Now, the tournament was won by Germany's 2-time Masters champion Bernhard Langer, 66, and his son Jason. And that will do it for sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
You, yes you, well listen to the radio. I have a secret to tell you. You see the My Cash app? It bad. Me pay all of my bills them quick by my phone before my wife can call me. If you check on it, it's easy, safe and keep me out of trouble. Everybody fi use it. Hello? Yes baby, bills paid on the My Cash app long time. One step by day again. Download the My Cash app by Paymaster today. Pay your bills anytime, anywhere with My Cash. My Cash, my way. My Cash digital wallet product is being tested in Bank of Jamaica's regulatory sandbox.
Harold, do you have a minute?
I need your help with something.
What that no?
I'm filling out this form from the company's office and there's a section about beneficial ownership, but I don't even know what that means.
Well, a beneficial owner is anybody that owns or controls a company. That could be anyone, a shareholder, director, or manager of the company. The company's office also needs to know the identity of all these people, including their occupation, nationality, date of birth, current address, and a copy of their ID.
Okay, I think I understand now.
One more thing. Remember, company's office needs this information when you're starting a company, filing annual returns, or making changes to the beneficial owners. They're also going to need you to maintain a record of these persons.
For more information, visit orcjamaica.com and bohubjamaica.com.
Here at Ascent Super Center, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's a December to remember. Get ready for 24 days of deals with the Azan Super Center Super Sale. From now until Christmas, experience the sale event of the season with incredible savings on a wide range of items. There won't be a better time to get all of your gifts, decorations, and everything in between. So fill your Christmas list at the Azan Super Center Super Sale.
So this Christmas, make it Ascent Super Center for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Never run extension cords underneath carpets. Run cords along the wall to prevent tripping or overheating. This Christmas safety tip is brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
Calling all Nationwide carolers. Get in the Christmas spirit for caroling with Nationwide 90 FM, a competition that allows you to create a melodic composition about your favorite brand. That's right, we want you, our incredible listeners, to compose a Christmas carol that spotlights your favorite brands, services, or products. Here are the rules. Step 1, check our social media accounts for the brands involved. Step 2, send your submissions to nationwideradiojm@gmail.com by December 15. Step 3, tune into the E-Block and see if you won. Voting takes place during the Sound Off or E-Zone. It's time to win this Christmas in caroling with Nationwide 90 FM.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
And Image Plus Consultants Limited, owners and operators of Apex Radiology.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. It's the festive season. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you for tuning in. As always, we invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. I hope you all had a good start to the week. Happy Monday, and everybody, is in their right frame of mind. But it's 7 days till Christmas, and we here at Nationwide, we want to know, for Public Opinion, what does Christmas mean for you?
For me, Christmas means everything. Favorite time of the year, giving, sharing, spending time with family, and just enjoy the end of a year. It entails all the good things about you doing a year and seeing it through. You understand? There's so many things that could happen to you and you end up to see the end of the year. So Christmas is very special to me. I really love Christmas. I love the time. I love the music. I love everything about Christmas. Best time of the year.
To be honest, I never yet attach a meaning to Christmas. Sometimes it is peaceful, another time it is lavish, another time it's about family. I've never yet have a mold for Christmas. Never.
All right, there you have it, the views of the people. What does Christmas mean for you? And I noticed that nobody really go with the biblical meaning of Christmas, but I'll leave it there. So on our Facebook platform, I'll go to our Facebook platform. Let me see the comments right here. Rodney Williams says it's a pagan festival that has nothing to do with the birth of Jesus, as his birthday was never recorded on or even commanded to be celebrated. All right. He's saying it's celebrated with a Christmas tree adorned with glittering ornaments. And he's saying, seek the truth, people. It's out there. All right. To each his own opinion. We respect your opinion. Audley Phillips says, Christmas for me is an opportunity to give thanks for the remarkable love, hope, and joy found in all my wonderful family and friends and in Jesus. Clifton Ricardo Russell says, capitalism at its best. Okay. O'Neill Dennis says, it's the most wonderful time of the year where families and friends come together. It's the time where a lot of food you don't normally prepare. Oh, so you eat whole heap of food and you full your belly. All right, big up yourself, O'Neill Dennis. We're ready for it. Rosalind Buck says, it has become too commercialized for me. Philip Jackson says, Christmas means peace on earth, goodwill to all men. Even it's a fact that Jesus never born this time, but it's the fact that he was born, so we commemorate his birth, Nyamins, and another word coming after. Nyamings and jammings after? Okay. Sansia Campbell says, it is the most fantastic time of the year. Ricardo Portes says, it is a good time for family to get together and enjoy themselves in life. Natalie Winter says, Christmas means love of my special someone, friends, Christmas shopping, the works, and most of all, I love you, Dad. All right, big up, Daddy. Big up, Natalie, Daddy. I love you, Dad, with all my heart, and she's sending love to family and most family and friends at this Christmas time. Christopher Isaac says, lots of love, lots of all that nice and joyful things. Anthony Shake says, it's reminding me that we're celebrating the birth of a king. Eunice Anderson says, just the birth of Jesus. Michelle Bernard says, it's the most wonderful time of the year. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. We're asking, what does Christmas mean for you? And in the meantime, you can tell me if you feel the Christmas spirit. We Jamaicans, we people, we always ask if you feel Christmas? Y'all feel Christmas? On our Twitter platform, X, that should be. Let me see if I can get in someone. Tevin Johnson is saying he wants a bottle of wine for holiday. And he's saying he's asking NNN. Ask and it shall be given. I am now asking. That nice, see? And on our Instagram platform, Robert Gregory Lewis says it means a time for love, giving, and celebration. And I agree as it relates to the celebration. For me, it's a time where I reflect. I reflect on the year that is slowly but surely coming to a close. The year filled with so many ups and downs and opportunities and missed opportunities. And I reflect. I reflect on the year. Reflecting on 2023 and seeing where I went wrong, where I went right. It's a time of reflection for me, time of togetherness, family, friends, and all my loved ones. I feel as though it's although we should do this more often, we should celebrate with our families and whatnot. But it's also a time where, more than the ordinary food cook and the sorrel and gungo rice and peas and we full with belly because we love with food and thing. Well, let me see what's on our YouTube platform as it relates to our public opinion question this evening. What does Christmas mean for you? The Passport for Life says, this year I will not celebrate. Wow, my mother just passed. I miss her sorrel drink. Condolences to you, Passport Life. Let me see if I can get in some more. Mercy says it's overrated and a lot of euphoric spending. Don't get me started on the spending. Since me reach certain age, me feel like Christmas and the Christmas shopping and the buying and them something there, enough for me. It's for the kids. And that's just my opinion. I mean, gift giving, I think it's mostly for the kids. It's not supposed to be that way, but I don't know. For me, I just think about spending money. When it comes on to Christmas and children, I think about spending the money. That's what I think about. Nigel Frey says, Christmas to me means sharing and caring for those who are in need. Also a time to give back. Although we should give back throughout the year. But people choose this time to give back, and that's most awesome. Mona Smith says, I love being with my family and enough food, and I also love the weather. That may I talk about enough food. Who am I says, that man never once mentioned the birth of Jesus. Sharon Kong says it means nothing to her. All right. Herman Carter Hyatt says Christmas mean money spending. Oh boy, can I tell you? Killian Henry says Christmas is just another day. All right. Paul Peart says Christmas means to me is because Jesus is the reason for this season. All right, Marva Thomas says, my favorite time of the year with my birthday and enjoying coming together with fam and friends and giving God thanks for another year. That is indeed awesome. Happy birthday when it comes. Let me see. Alex Smith says, this is a time when every poor people turn Bill Gates' cousin. It's when many see love and respect for a day. And he's saying, I love it. I wish everyone a great and splendid. Okay, wow, that word the long do, Alex Smith. Splenditrolocious. Explenditrolocious? Did I get that right? Big up yourself. Fully Disclosed says, Christmas means time for the family. Shin's Law Boss says, Christmas is everything. Prosperity says, my house full of food and I'm not eating it, just going out for Christmas dinner. You know, some people like all me know. Me don't want to go in a no kitchen this Christmas. I don't want no go in a no kitchen. I just want the food to come to me and me devour it. A summer seat. Like Christmas, me feel like this Christmas, me go sit out of the kitchen, now go in the kitchen. I'm going to just enjoy all that is prepared. Colomia says, I enjoy Christmas with family and friends and myself. John Black, a good talk. Okay. Son Juan says, Christmas is for family. Student for Life says, in my humble opinion, Christmas is for the kids. For adults, a perfect way to spend quality time with our families. For me, a perfect time to reflect on Christ's birth. Indeed, indeed. Donna Smith says it's the most wonderful time of the year, my birth month. Big up yourself, Donna Smith. Happy birthday when it comes, or belated if it already gone. Who Am I says Christmas is the square root of being broke in January. Listen to me. That 40 days and 40 nights of January? Yes. I hear you on that one, Who Am I? But like I said before, it's a time to reflect. Happiness, joy, being joyful, spending time with your family, and just giving thanks. You know that feeling you get when you enter a new year, like a Howie crossover. You have a song say a Howie crossover. I use Christmas to reflect on the most important things in my life, and the fact that I have life. You know, because if we never have life, we wouldn't be able to do nothing. So, a Merry, Merry Christmas when it comes. It's too early to send Christmas greetings, no? Christmas greetings from across the world. Thank you guys so much for participating in this evening's public opinion. Remember, you have the option of agreeing and or disagreeing, as you are entitled to your own opinion. Christmas greetings from Nationwide. Do stay tuned for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
And Image Plus Consultants Limited, owners and operators of Apex Radiology. Gambling is a form of entertainment and not a way to get rich. For information on responsible gambling, call Rise Life at 888-991-4146. The time by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission is
6:32. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The Jamaica Bankers Association, JBA, is urging consumers and business owners to take all necessary measures to safeguard themselves and their valuables in light of the Christmas season and security risks associated with handling cash. Now, it says, as the festive season brings an increase in cash flow and the hustle and bustle of holiday shopping, there is need for heightened awareness and vigilance regarding consumer shopping and conducting banking transactions. The association is strongly encouraging customers to opt for secure digital payment methods such as mobile and online banking, credit, debit, and contactless cards, or online payment gateways when making purchases. For those consumers who cannot avoid using cash, the JBA is recommending these tips to mitigate the risks associated with handling physical currency. Plan your cash withdrawals. Be alert when using automated banking machines. Be discreet when handling cash. Do not store cash at home, and pay close attention to your surroundings. In other news, Apple will stop selling its latest watches in the U.S. after the U.S. found it had violated copyrights. An order barring sales and imports of watches with a disputed blood oxygen feature is due to go into effect on December 26. Apple has said it plans to appeal the decision, but would preemptively remove the devices from its U.S. site December 21 and from stores in the country after Christmas Eve. Sales elsewhere are not affected. In a statement, Apple says it strongly disagrees with the order and is pursuing a range of legal and technical options to ensure that Apple Watch is available to customers. The issue stems from a dispute with California-based medical device firms Masimo and spin-off Cercacor, which have accused the iPhone giant of poaching key staff and taking other steps to steal technology it developed to measure oxygen levels in the blood. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 155 Jamaican dollars and 77 cents to buy $1 US. It cost 196 Jamaican dollars and 87 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 97 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robiana Williams. Good evening.
Buckets of savings from Sherwin-Williams from November 23 to December 21. 12% off decorative paint, 10% off automotive paint. Purchase 5 gallons of paint and get a paintbrush free. 6 to 9 gallons and get 2 paintbrushes free. And over 10 gallons, get a paint roller set absolutely free. Get buckets of savings from Sherwin-Williams from November 23 to December 21. Available at all Sherwin-Williams paint stores. Conditions apply.
Missing persons, may I help you?
Yes, my wife is missing.
Where did you last see her?
In Kemlani. They have huge savings on living room, dining room, bedroom sets.
Really?
And that's not all. There are doors, toilets, tiles, low prices on TVs, fridges, stoves, and more.
Is your credit card missing, sir?
Yes, how you know?
She's still in Kemlani Mart, sir. Go check.
Okay.
I love this place, you see.
Hello, I found her.
Kemlani Mart, you will never want to leave.
I'm advice you don't know Lali Shot and Tali. And I have a message from Bank of Jamaica to the entire Jamaica. That you know two grand. Hey, if you make change for the 5 grand. 5 grand. Now for chaffer with the bag of 1,000. Just use the brand new 2 grand. Bank of Jamaica, the new notes, don't stress them. Wash or bleach them. Don't iron or expose to each friend. Don't ripen or experiment. Don't crease and don't crush them. Don't bore them, just store them. The new note them. The new note them. The new note them. Hey, from the advice you don't know Lali Shot and Tali. And that was a message from Bank of Jamaica. BOJ, them deaf, them better listen to this. Hey, yeah. The new note them. Hey, the new note them. 50, 100, and 5, 1,000. Polymer notes and the 5 grand. At the new note them bang. Hey, at the new note them. Yeah.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Christmas just got more festive and jollier with Nationwide 90 FM's Plaza-wide broadcast.
Join the plaza-wide broadcast journey as they spread the gift of promotion to all the plazas. Enjoy the vibes of festivities and Christmas spirit when the sound off sets course for shops of Lane Plaza on Thursday, December 21. Tune in from 1 to 3 p.m. for the merriness that the plaza has to offer. Listen and tune in as we spotlight the shops of Lane Plaza, hearing what they have to offer this festive season. Jamaica, stop by and engage with Triple X and Karen Booker. Let your friends and family hear you on the plaza-wide broadcast. That's a live broadcast during the sound off from 1 to 3 p.m. at Lane Plaza on Thursday, December 21. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Deskel Plus Size Collection, Deskel Decor, A1 Lock Lab and Stationery Supplies Limited, Statement Pieces by Chris, Shay's Wellness Spot, and Kerry K.
6:40 on this Monday evening, Monday, December 18, 2023. Here with the nation's business. My name is George Davis.
And I'm Cliff Hughes. Well, in a significant shift in the church's approach to members of the LGBTQIA plus community, Pope Francis has formally permitted Roman Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples. LGBTQIA stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual. According to a document published by the Vatican's Faith Department and approved by the Pope, the blessings may be carried out providing they are not part of regular church rituals or liturgies, nor at the same time as a civil union.
A blessing consists of invoking God's benevolence on a person and is generally carried out by a priest. The document does not change the Catholic Church's stance on same-sex marriages or unions. It reiterates the long-held position that marriage is between only a man and a woman for the purpose of having children, and it says no blessings should be given that confuse the issue. The document says this blessing should never be imparted in concurrence with the ceremonies of a civil union and not even in connection with them.
However, it's the first time the Vatican has opened the way to the blessing of same-sex couples. The issue has been a source of tension within the Church. The announcement marks a significant step forward by the Vatican, which in 2021 said the Catholic Church could not bless same-sex couples as God does not bless sin. One Vatican observer described the move as likely the most concrete pastoral shift on the Church's stance toward gay couples in the Church's 2,000-year history. Well, to give us his reaction to the announcement, we're being joined by the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Kingston, Kenneth Richards. Good evening, Bishop.
Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening.
Good evening to your audience and your co-host.
Yes, George Davis.
George, yes, sir.
How historic a move is this by Pope Francis?
Well, I mean, I'm of the opinion that I think that person maybe exaggerating what the Holy Father is asking.
Oh.
I mean, you have quoted quite correctly some of the sections of the document that is not giving a blessing in the formal sense that would be given to a couple, a man and a woman, according to what the Scriptures requires and according to the Church's teaching. The document itself was explaining the pastoral meaning for blessing. And of course, it went into detail with respect to what the liturgical blessing, in terms of the rituals, requires and involves. And it involves that persons who are blessed in this way, that they would be in accord with the teachings of the Scriptures and the teachings of the Church. And so, invoking God's blessing would be to implore strengthening of such a person's disposition in accord with faith, and what would be in according to and person who trust in God's will and are intent on observing God's commandments. And so that is what a liturgical blessing would be. And it would also be an opportunity to give praise to God through Jesus Christ in the Holy Spirit. And so it would not involve anything that would contradict the law and the spirit of the gospel, nor the teachings of the church.
But given where the church is coming from, it is a significant move.
Well, the funny thing is, I think it's just that the church is now, I mean, it has always been commonplace for pastors to pray for persons who come for pastoral guidance, etc. And I suppose because it has become topical with respect to LGBT, and also, and one of the things about the document is not geared primarily towards the same-sex relationship. It was also about man and woman relationship that the church describes as irregular, divorcees, remarry, etc. And so the church was making accommodation that if such persons approach a minister of the church for a blessing, not to bless their union, but to bless them in their sickness, to bless them in the challenges, seeking inspiration and guidance from God, that the church doesn't go into an investigation of their morality and become an obstacle to allowing those persons to receive grace and blessing from God. It can help with their conversion, so I think that has to be a part of the emphasis that is given so that person to understand and not think that the church is going against the scriptures or even going against its teachings.
Hold it for us, Archbishop Richards. We're up on a break.
Become Team Jamaica certified to shape the future of Jamaica's tourism sector. TPDCO's Team Jamaica, shaping ambassadors for life.
The time by TPDCO's Team Jamaica training program is
6:46.
Christmas in the air, special time of year when we share with those we hold dear. Friends and family gather round the tree, making memories with rice and gunga peas. Peace and good in this season with fellowship and sharing, fun, kindness and love to everyone. Sharing good tidings along with Christmas pudding. Merry, 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 merry Christmas from Multi-Link.
The management and staff of Banmark West and Negril would like to extend season's greetings to their loyal customers. Let the peace and the joy of this holiday season be yours now and throughout the new year. So this season, visit Banmark for all your bikes and bike rentals or call 9570196. Happy holidays from Banmark.
ABC Electrical takes this opportunity to wish good health and prosperity to all their valued customers and contractors for their business. They send a hearty thank you and gratitude for the support and look forward to serving you even better in the coming year. ABC, a better choice in the electrical business.
I earn hugs and rewards. I earn smiles and rewards.
Whatever you get from giving your gifts this holiday season is made even better when you use your Sagicor Bank credit card, because you'll earn rewards on every dollar you spend.
I earn.
Dad, you're the best!
Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to do all your holiday spending and earn the best rewards ever. Conditions apply.
This Christmas, give your family the gift of relaxation with the Singer Family Getaway. Shop from November 23 to December 31 and spend $20,000 before GCT to get a chance to win your family a 4-day, 3-night stay at a luxurious, all-inclusive hotel. Get the best brands of appliances and electronics, plus the best quality furniture, and make it the best Christmas ever with Singer. $650,000 in prizes to be won. So shop now for more chances to win. Conditions apply. See the website for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
It's 12 minutes going up to 7 o'clock on this Monday evening, Monday, December 18. Today, word came from the Vatican, declaration of fiducia supplicans. Yes, the Pope Francis of Buenos Aires, the bishop from Argentina, has formally permitted Roman Catholic priests to bless same-sex couples and unmarried people as well. And we have with us the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Kingston, Kenneth Richards, with us. Bishop Richards, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
In reading the declaration, a number of things struck me. Yes, He said, indeed, The grace of God works in the lives of those who do not claim to be righteous, but who acknowledge themselves humbly as sinners like everyone else. This grace can orient everything according to the mysterious and unpredictable designs of God. Therefore, with its untiring wisdom and motherly care, the Church welcomes all who approach God with humble hearts, accompanying them with those spiritual aids that enable everyone to understand and realize God's will fully in their existence. This is a blessing that, although not included in any liturgical rite, unites intercessory prayer with the invocation of God's help by those who humbly turn to Him. This is classic Francis.
Right, yes. And by that quote that you just referred to, there's a presumption that those who request a blessing from the church are persons of faith. And if you're a person of faith, then you are open to, you have an openness to the precepts and the commands of God. And that is why that line that you read, that person doesn't come with a self-righteous disposition, but also acknowledges that all of us are sinners. And so is therefore open to the grace of God to bring about conversion according to God's will. The document speaks that it describes that when a minister, ordained minister, prays for such a person, he'll be praying for their peace, praying for their health, for a spirit of patience, for mutual assistance from God, so the light of God that will enlighten their lives, and to give them strength to
But Bishop, given the history of the church and his predecessors, this is a bishop, this is a pope who is pulling the church along, modernizing the church.
Well, I mean, the way in which I put it is that he has taken the pastoral approach rather than the doctrinal approach with respect to the church. And so he's calling us to look beyond the doctrinal, to interpret the doctrinal positions pastorally, so that persons are not alienated, but by the pastoral approach, we can open them to the grace of God and to conversion, rather than the hard and fast doctrinal positions
which alienated
persons.
Which alienated and marginalized.
Correct, yes.
And on the point of alienation, Archbishop, I'm drawing your attention to section 39. I don't know if you have the document in front of you.
Yes, we do. Document, yes.
Good. It says, in any case, precisely to avoid any form of confusion or scandal, when the prayer of blessing is requested by a couple in an irregular situation, even though it's expressed outside the rites prescribed by the liturgical books, this blessing should never be imparted in concurrence with the ceremonies of a civil union and not even in connection with them. Nor can it be performed with any clothing, gestures, or words that are proper to a wedding. The same applies when the blessing is requested by a same-sex couple. So my question is on the point of alienation. The absence of the usuals which accompany the rituals in the regular way the church gives the blessing. Now that you've opened it up in this manner, is there not a risk that those who are in a regular situation, who are same-sex couples, could they not feel reasonably that they're getting a lower grade blessing, like the blessing traditionally is at one level and the one that they are receiving is of almost like a light, L-I-T-E, blessings light then, on the point of alienation?
I think it should be a misinterpretation to think that what is being blessed is a union. What is being blessed are persons who might have spiritual and other concerns, but it's not about blessing a union, because then that would cause confusion and conflict in the minds of the faithful, and would be contrary to God's law, because the document explicitly states that nothing must be done that is contrary to the teachings of the church and also the law of God. And so, and this is where the fine line is. And that is why persons who come for blessing must make sure that they are genuinely persons of faith. They are seeking God's will, because that's what basically a blessing or prayer is all about. It's to see God's will is not an imposition of one's own
Yeah,
will.
but I take the point you're making, Archbishop. What I'm saying, it says clearly, if you request it as a couple in an irregular situation or as a same-sex couple, and yes, you go as individuals, but given the caveats about what must not be a part of that blessing you're getting as a member of a same-sex couple or as a one of a pair in an irregular situation, what is there to not say that I'm getting a light blessing from the Catholic Church?
No, but just the things that I think you're still making a correlation between the blessing of a married couple and somebody in a same-sex union. When a person approaches, the church would have to counsel that person that they cannot bless them in terms of as a union. If there are other concerns that they have, then the church can advance, prayers and intercession for such a person. But it's not about blessing a union. It's not going to be about grades of unions that will be compared with in such a situation.
Archbishop Richards, you are the Archbishop of Kingston.
Yes.
Jamaica, and we know the public sentiments, yes, against the LGBTQ community here, yes, bordering on hostility from time to time, although moderating in recent times. How do you explain to your Jamaican congregation the fine distinction that Pope Francis is making here between doctrinal and pastoral teachings of the 2,000-year-old Roman Catholic Church?
I think that what is important is for us to, in order to overcome the categorization of persons, is to recognize that there's something that unites all of us, that we are all created in the image and likeness of God. And so all of us, irrespective of our
But some don't accept
faults
that.
and flaws,
Some don't accept that. You would agree with me. Some don't. That some people don't accept that at all.
Well, but I mean, that would have a shared human dignity. I mean, we don't even have to go with respect to Scripture.
Yes.
To highlight the dignity of each person.
Right.
We can just a personalistic understanding of self. That I am of such value that I do not want to be used and abused. And if I have that perspective of myself, then I should recognize I must not use and abuse another person.
Precisely, agreed. But do a majority of us accept that in Jamaica?
That is what needs to be promoted. And I think that is what is the undercurrent of all the misgivings that we're experiencing socially. And that we need to move to that self-understanding of respect and due regard for persons because of the dignity of the person.
But isn't this going to pose problems for your church here in Jamaica and your leaders?
Why should it?
Because of the attitudes to the LGBT community in Jamaica?
Well, just for the things that, once I was asked the question, would I accept a person who is LGBT into my church? I said that I accept persons into my church. I don't examine persons about their sexual orientation. I accept persons. If a person comes to my church, and of course, I mean, practically all of our churches have persons with different orientations and leanings, etc., different moral challenges, etc. You welcome persons. That the hope is that the grace of God, the Scriptures, will enlighten and such persons, for conversion, for evangelization. So it's not about trying to exclude, stand at the door like a policeman and says, "Oh no, you can't come in here." No, the church is an open door, welcoming all persons, and the emphasis that we welcome persons, with respect to sexual orientation, activity, etc. That is secondary.
George, I want to ask you though.
Yes.
I recall the moment when Francis was elected to the papacy. Yes, and we were reading about his antecedents.
His antecedents?
Well, his history, let me put it that way.
Yes, okay.
His history, yes, in the church and his pastoral work in Argentina. The liberal instincts were always all over that history, record.
Yes.
And I'm asking you this evening, given what we have heard out of the Vatican today, is he not a history-making pope?
Indeed. I mean, yes, because of the pastoral emphasis that he's giving. But we must not think that the pastoral emphasis is beside or excludes the doctrinal teachings of the church. They are in accord. Mm-hmm. But indeed, when they deal with the challenges, human challenges and human situations, it cannot be hard and fast. You know, we just need to look at the life of Jesus Christ himself. Mm-hmm. You know, when persons brought the law to him with respect to condemning for argument's sake the woman caught in adultery, he had a different approach with respect to her. Mm-hmm. When they came with a hard and fast rule with respect to the Sabbath, he had a different approach to it. And so it is the pastoral approach and dealing things, situational circumstance, I think, that he has brought back to bring a human face, a sensitivity to person's struggles in life, you know, so that you do not allow, you know, Jesus at one point, you know, he castigated the lawyers and the scribes and the Pharisees for laying heavy burdens upon people and not helping them to carry it. And so the church cannot just hold on to the doctrines to the extent as to exclude person, alienate people. It has to be able to translate that into pastoral situations, you know.
So will he take the majority? Will he take the majority of the church with him, or will he face a backlash from the more conservative elements of the Roman Catholic Church?
Actually, there's been a struggle for me to position. You ascended to the position. A lot of persons, the conservative persons, have had difficulty and felt challenged. And actually, it was, I mean, although this particular document indicated that the office that was working on this pastor to give the pastor meaning of blessing, but then two of the dubious that were raised by cardinals with respect to questioning the Pope and so on issues. You know, this document has added clarification to what it means, so to help those who are the hard and fast doctrinal persons to recognize the pastoral position and to recognize that he's not departed from the traditions of the church, and especially not departed from the teaching of the scriptures.
So you feel he will be able to carry the majority of the church with him, and in particular that conservative wing of the church?
If persons will truly listen to the document, because I must say that I was a little bit startled by some of the responses that I saw from certain bishops, you know, or certain commentaries, mostly in the media, you know, that this was an opening, you know, for accepting of LGBT in terms of practice, and not recognize what the Holy Father is doing, is making an opening for us to truly become pastoral in our relationship to persons, so that we can dispose them to receive the grace of God and for enlightenment.
Yeah. Well, let's watch his space. Could be interesting going forward.
Yes.
Archbishop, the Roman Catholic Archbishop of Kingston, Kenneth Richards. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, George. Take a cliff.
Good. This is Nationwide at 5.
We're counting down the days to that magical time of year, and at Active Home Center, we have so many gifts to share. Let's get together for the holidays and make every room and floor feel the magic this Christmas from the treasures we have in store. Tiles, kitchen and appliances, windows and doors, bathrooms, furniture, lighting, and so much more. Visit our showrooms in Kingston and Montego Bay or online at ActiveHomeCenter.com. Active Home Center, more savings, more choices.
The Watchman, exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional, Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Foretelling the coming of the Messiah. The birth of the Messiah is not a mystery. Neither is his identity in question. Hundreds of years before his birth, prophecies of a kingly Messiah were spoken and recorded. These could apply to no man, no one other than Jesus Christ of Nazareth, proving that he is the Messiah. some of the more revealing prophecies in the Old Testament and their fulfillment in the person of Jesus Christ of the New Testament follow. 1. Born of a virgin. Old Testament prophecy. Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and call his name Emmanuel. New Testament fulfillment. Matthew chapter 1 verse 18. Now the birth of Jesus Christ was in this wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Holy Ghost. 2. Place and time of birth. Prophecy. Micah chapter 5 verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler of Israel. New Testament fulfillment. Matthew chapter 2 verse 1. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. 3. Heir to the throne of David. Prophecy. Isaiah chapter 9 verse 7. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. New Testament fulfillment. Matthew chapter 1 verse 1. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. 4. Massacre of infants. Prophecy. Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 15. Thus saith the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping, for her children refused to be comforted. New Testament fulfillment. Matthew chapter 2 verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under. 5. Flight into Egypt. Prophecy. Hosea chapter 11 verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him, and called my son out of Egypt. New Testament fulfillment. Matthew chapter 2 verse 14. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt. 6. Rejection by the Jews. Prophecy. Isaiah chapter 53 verse 2. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, and he was despised, and we esteemed him not. New Testament fulfillment. John chapter 1 verse 11. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. So let the praises go up for Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, Lord and Messiah, whose birth we celebrate at Christmas. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio, Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Welcome to Paymaster.
Sure. How can we help you today?
Morning, miss. I need to pay some bills and pick up remittance. I can do that here?
You can pay any bills, utilities, school fees, insurance, and microloan repayments. Plus, pay your toll tag and collect PAT and pension payouts.
Really?
Yes! We have over 200 Paymaster locations island-wide. Access our services with Paymaster Online, or you can pay bills, send cash, and top up with the MyCash app by Paymaster.
Thanks. Paymaster fast, accessible, and secure for true.
MyCash products is being tested in Bank of Jamaica's regulatory sandbox.
Missing persons, may I help you?
Yes, my wife is missing.
Where did you last see her?
In Kemlani Mart. They have huge savings on living room, dining room, bedroom sets.
Really?
And that's not all. There are doors, toilets, tiles, low prices on TVs, fridges, stoves, and more.
Is your credit card missing, sir?
Yes, how you know?
She's still in Kemlani Mart, sir. Go check.
Okay.
I love this place, you see.
Hello, I found her.
Kemlani Mart, you will never want to leave.
The IDF says 3 Israeli hostages who were mistakenly killed in Gaza by the Israeli military had been holding up a piece of white cloth on a stick. An initial report by Israel's military into the deaths found the hostages were fired on against Israel's rules of engagement. Protests over the killings took place in Tel Aviv with calls for the Israeli government to do more to bring home hostages from Gaza.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the deaths as an unbearable tragedy. The Israeli offensive has continued in Gaza, with residents reporting fighting in northern, central and southern Gaza. Hamas broke through Israel's heavily guarded perimeter on October 7, killing 1,200 people and taking 240 hostages.
Some of them were released during a brief truce. The health ministry in Gaza, which is run by Hamas, says almost 19,000 people. 19,000 people have been killed and over 50,000 injured in Gaza since the start of the war.
And more than half of those, almost 19,000, women
and children. Well, I think I would take it over half. Women and children would take it over half.
Yes.
Yeah. More in this report from the BBC.
The Israeli army says 3 hostages who were mistakenly shot dead by troops in Gaza had been holding a white flag. Early findings from an official investigation said the men were fired on in breach of the army's own rules of engagement. An Israeli soldier began shooting when 3 shirtless men emerged from a building in the suburbs of Gaza City. Eilon Shamriz, Yolem Haim and Samer al-Talakai were killed in Asher Jiga in the north of Gaza. The IDF says their killing was very tragic. An army spokesman told the BBC that the soldier and his colleagues had made a mistake and would not be punished. In a separate development, an Al Jazeera journalist and cameraman, Samer Abu Daga, was killed on Friday in an Israeli strike. From Jerusalem, our security correspondent Frank Gardner reports.
In the war zone that is Gaza, Israeli forces have committed a tragic error. In their effort to free hostages, they've shot 3 of them, mistaking them for Hamas fighters. The young Israeli men were all in their 20s, seized by Hamas in their raid into Israel 2 months ago. Now an investigation has revealed they were carrying a white flag. Relatives of the more than 100 hostages still held in Gaza have been gathering in Tel Aviv, demanding the government do more to get their loved ones out. Israel's policy is to put pressure on Hamas by military force. That, they say, isn't working.
There is no price for the hostages. They must be ready to pay any price for their release. To make a deal now. That is what I'm saying. Yesterday, not now.
In Gaza, another funeral. This time for Samer Abu Daqa, a well-known Palestinian cameraman who worked for the Al Jazeera network, killed in a drone strike. Friends describe him as a veteran journalist and a talented cameraman.
He's a compassionate soul. He is very dedicated to bringing the coverage to the world. He had the opportunity, by the way, to immigrate to Belgium, to Brussels, where his family is now residing, but he refused. He said, Gaza's story is my story.
Across Gaza, the humanitarian situation continues to deteriorate. Aid trucks are getting in, But UN workers say in many cases they're mobbed by desperate Palestinians and stripped of their food. Washington wants Israel to wrap up this military operation soon. Israel says it needs months more to finish the job of destroying Hamas. Frank Gardner, BBC News, Jerusalem.
Well, earlier I spoke to Israeli spokesperson Mark Regev about the killing of the 3 hostages by the IDF. He described it as a tragic mistake.
Well, it's obviously a tragedy, and the IDF is investigating exactly what happened. It's a difficult situation, but first and foremost, our hearts go out to the families of these 3 hostages who were tragically killed. It was obviously a combat zone. I know that from that area where the 3 were, there had been hostile fire towards our hostages before. And afterwards, there was also hostile fire from that area towards our forces. The whole area is a war zone. That doesn't, of course, justify what happened, and that's why it's being investigated at the highest level by the Israeli Defense Forces. It's unacceptable what happened.
And Mr. Regev, an initial report by Israel's military says that these deaths went against Israel's rules of engagement. What are those rules of engagement?
So some of them we have to keep confidential because Hamas is listening to our conversation, and we want to keep some things from the enemy. But it's clear that we don't want to kill innocent. It's clear that we don't want to kill our hostages if we find them. It's clear that this was a tragic error by our forces, and we have to do our own checking to make sure, do our maximum that it won't reoccur. One of the problems we face is, of course, that Hamas don't wear uniforms. They wear civilian clothes. They are terrorists. There have been incidents, as you know, in the past where supposedly surrender and then they attack our forces. It's very difficult combat, house to house. Suddenly, you think an area is clean and someone comes out of a door or comes out of an underground tunnel and can open fire on our forces. It's difficult combat. I'm not justifying what happened. If soldiers broke the rules of engagement, there has to be action taken. But I'm just giving the context of how these things can happen. I mean, I did my military service. I think anyone who's been in any army knows in combat there's always a danger of what the experts call blue on blue or friendly fire casualties. That can always happen. In this case, it's even more egregious because obviously the victims of the tragic incident were in fact civilians. They were taken hostage by Hamas. And we have to find out and get to the bottom exactly what happened.
Let me ask you this, because we are seeing protests now, and we've had relatives of hostages here on the BBC News as well expressing their frustration. It seems to be the case that getting the hostages out by force isn't working when a temporary ceasefire did work, and we saw dozens of hostages released. Is this time for a change of course now?
So we would argue, and we believe we're correct, that we only had the release of the previous 105 hostages precisely because of the use of force. Hamas only agreed to their release when it was desperate for a ceasefire. They didn't suddenly become humanitarians. They didn't suddenly decide that, we're going to release hostages out of the goodness of their heart or out of respect for international humanitarian law. Hamas has no respect. Their whole behavior is against the rules of armed conflict, against international humanitarian law. That's who Hamas is. And just as they butchered Israelis, they have no qualms about butchering innocent. We've seen that over and over again. Hamas will only release hostages if they're under pressure, and we believe the military pressure is the way to do that. Now, of course, we understand the hostage families. One can only start to begin to understand their pain, their suffering, having a loved one being held by Hamas and knowing what sort of terrible, gruesome violence that Hamas is capable of. And so, of course, one feels for them. If there is an opportunity to free hostages, we will take that opportunity.
I can't believe
Hamas butchered 1,200 Israelis. And butchering is correct. What is Israel doing now? Massacring? 19,000 people? And you want me to accept that is justifiable? No. When Hamas does it, it is horrible, it is wicked, it's criminal. When Israel does it, it's no less. No less. And the Americans, who have been Israel's strongest allies, this morning, the U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin was in Israel, and he said Israel is facing a strategic defeat. They are allowing Hamas to outwit them. Israel's support across the global village is dwindling.
But they said they don't need it.
Huh?
They said they don't need it.
Only because they have the ironclad defense of the U.S.
And Defense Secretary Austin said this morning, don't forget, that the United States' support for Israel is unshakable.
Unshakable. That is so. Yes. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, where will Israel stand? You continue to massacre people, including women and children. Yeah? Those of us who support Israel are looking in the mirror and say, can we really continue with this? Huh?
Yep. Yep.
No, you can't.
19,000 counting. I was about to say to you that I can't believe that on December 18, we're still talking about Israel's assault on Gaza. Who are they looking for?
Yeah.
And how many of who they're looking for are they looking for?
Mm-hmm.
And how many have they neutralized already? How many are left?
Yeah. And you still have Hamas being able, to attack Israel. And what you're doing is killing women and children. You're losing it. They're losing it. And frankly, it must be said, the war by Israel is being prosecuted by Netanyahu, who is fighting for his political life, his own political skin. That is what is motivating him.
But the killing of the 3 Israelis proves what people inside Gaza, aid workers and others, have been saying.
Yes.
You've been killing unarmed people.
Yes.
Because those 3 men did
Stripped
not
to their waist.
no munitions whatsoever.
With a makeshift
white
flag.
And you saw them in that posture and
you
they
shoot
open
them.
fire, yes.
That tells you the attitude, yes? The mandate that they have gone into Gaza with. And it's Netanyahu and his far-right government who are being far more dangerous and damaging to what Israel is and stands for.
And the record will show that since what happened on October 7th, the atrocities committed on Israeli soil by the Hamas gunmen.
Mm-hmm. Terrorists.
Terrorists, fact. Israel have killed more of the hostages taken by Hamas than Hamas have. The bombings, they've killed more in the bombings, and then they shot the 3. They shot the 3 last week.
Yeah. Time for the break. After the break, your calls. Yes, George. So this Friday evening thing with you and Chevron.
You know long you want to ask me, but go on, make a fancy me here. Go on, talk.
You have all innovated this Friday evening thing. Yes? But you need a partner, man.
Wait, is it Chevron?
Chevron not with it. Chevron not with it.
Cliff.
Mr. Chevron the other evening.
What are you?
One beat, one tap.
The other day, Chevron come with some tune. Where because the YouTubers love Chevron to a fault, No, man, they love him to a fault. He's their guy. Yeah? Even the ones who love him unconditionally. I say, all right, Chevron, make George play the music.
all my hearing come in here and just take over the thing.
Yeah.
Chevron do a one tap thing. Say, poor Chevron.
So what are you proposing by virtue of saying that?
No. I'm not going there with it.
Oh, because
I'm not going there with it.
You understand? What I imagine you saying is that it needs to be produced so it balanced.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we need to produce him.
Yes.
All right. Madam Producer, you need to get Mr. Campbell's playlist and vet it.
Yes.
For foolishness. And then just come.
And encourage him to do a little bit more movement.
Yeah, man. Coordinate some movements with him, eh? Yeah, man. But it's a good thing going on a Friday, doing a Cliff.
That's what I realized.
Yeah, man. The people
have
like
been calling
me.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a man called me there. He said, Cliff, I get stuck in the traffic. Sit down in the traffic. Can't move. I mean, listen to your people, them. Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Make me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and them
God.
people here, they love Dennis Brown. The people in the chat, they have this passionate love for the late great Dennis Emmanuel Brown. They've been a player on Dennis Brown even then them vex.
Is that Berries?
No, man, them love Berry. Of course, everybody loves Berry, but them love Dennis Brown. Dennis Brown. They would have listened to Dennis Brown all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, them love them Dennis Brown.
All right, so after the break, you have to come back to the old suspects, the callers.
The other day, Milton vexed with me. Called me, right? I said something to me, so I was trying to correct something he said. The man get miserable. I say, me not allow him to talk. I said, but you're not easy. Are you call me, then me call you.
Oh, God. The numbers to call, 876-630-937124 or 876-618-8255.
The following Guard Your Card tip is brought to you by Cashbiz Finance. Conduct your own research before clicking on links in emails, direct messages, or on social media. Adverts that look promising may seem to be from legitimate retailers, when in reality they have been created for fraudulent activities. The preceding Guard Your Card tip was brought to you by Cashbiz Finance. Telephone 876-816-9942.
This Christmas, give your family the gift of relaxation with the Singer Family Getaway. Shop from November 23 to December 31 and spend $20,000 before GCT to get a chance to win your family a 4-day, 3-night stay at a luxurious, all-inclusive hotel. Get the best brands of appliances and electronics, plus the best quality furniture, and make it the best Christmas ever with Singer. $650,000 in prizes to be won. So shop now for more chances to win. Conditions apply. See the website for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Christmas just got more festive and jollier with Nationwide 90 FM's Plaza-wide broadcast. Join the Plaza-wide broadcast journey as they spread the gift of promotion to all the plazas. Enjoy the vibes of festivities and Christmas spirit when the sound off sets course for shops off Lane Plaza on Thursday, December 21. Tune in from 1 to 3 p.m. for the merriness that the plaza has to offer. Listen and tune in as we spotlight the shops of Lane Plaza, hearing what they have to offer this festive season. Jamaica, stop by and engage with Triple X and Karen Booker. Let your friends and family hear you on the Plaza-wide broadcast. That's a live broadcast during the sound off from 1 to 3 p.m. at Lane Plaza on Thursday, December 21. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Deskel Plus Size Collection, Deskel Decor, A1 Lock Lab and Stationery Supplies Limited, Statement Pieces by Chris, Shay's Wellness Spot, and Kerry K.
Ali Cat in the chat says, hypocrite George, you told Chevron his type of music is his and he should be okay with it. No, you are mocking him. Ah, boy, Jamaicans. Evening, Ali Cat. Evening. West is online. Good evening, West.
Good evening, sir. Hello?
I was listening to.
No, the line is.
We're not hearing you well, West. Your line is not particularly clean. Yes? All right, so we're going to try and sort that out. 27 minutes after 7 o'clock. It's Monday, the 18th of December. Next week, this time, it's Christmas. You would have had your dinner already, yes? And we'll be chatting over the dinner table or in the house somewhere. Yeah, exchanging notes. Yeah. What are you doing for Christmas?
Relax, eat some music. You want to eat some music?
You do.
Listen to some music. Watch some westerns and relax. Yeah.
Well, family time and a whole heap of ham for me.
Yeah, man. I had a piece of ham at Deli Works, Ligani. Original Sovereign.
Yes.
Bud like yes.
You don't do that. You don't do the ham thing, Bugs. You don't eat pork.
Oh.
Only the uncooked one.
Oh my God. Leave the young man alone, please. Anyway, your YouTube people say you must make the Friday evening thing a staple and you must get a sponsor for it.
Oh?
So that means that if you find yourself working on a Friday based on your schedule, you have to play a tune to, you know. So you
really?
come with your stock
I hear
record
you.
ready. You understand?
Yes.
Good. All right, so 630-9371, 9372, 9373, 9374, 618-8255. While we wait for it's Christmas week, while we wait for the call, the lines to straight out and the call to come in, Andrew, could you find the classic Immortal Someday at Christmas by Stevie to play? Even Cliff loved that one and Cliff know that one. So it's a safe one to play. You have Wilson now? All right, we're going to get Wilson first. Wilson, good evening.
Good evening, Wilson.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to you both.
Yes, good evening.
I don't like how the commissioner of police treating that guy there. That former chairman of the police. Why am I fight against the Jamaican brother like that? That's my partner in my nation.
Who are you talking now?
Huh?
Which one?
They win the case now, and they don't want to give back the man in work.
Oh?
The commissioner of police.
Oh, the Rohan James.
Rohan James.
Oh.
How much is the guy, sir? Like he represent at Jamaica. He not kill nobody. Why much is him, sir?
Yes,
Why
sir.
the commissioner of police actually the black look youth, sir?
Oh, black liquor youth. Nobody bring that into it. Stick to the issue. It's not nothing to do with race.
The man winning case, being back in job, no man. And not kill no one.
All right, sir.
I don't like them things, man.
No, you shouldn't do it. None of us should like injustice. If him winning case and the court say he must get back in work, he must get back in work.
Yeah. So why the commissioner of police fighting the brother like that?
I don't know that, sir. I don't know
I
the
think
answer
you
to that.
have them on the program, man. Make one of you, either you or one of you stop them in interviewing.
All right, sir.
I will stop it, man.
All right, sir. Marcus Parkins said Broadcasting Commission going to write you, Cliff.
Yes, the pork business.
For what?
The pork
For
business.
eating uncooked pork? Huh? Boog said he love the uncooked pork.
Him dump it, Cliff.
Well, I don't mind pork. Yeah? Cooked or uncooked?
Give me the song. And let Cliff get himself in trouble here, please.
Boys playing with bombs like kids play with toys. One warm December, our hearts will see a world where men are free. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no wars when we have learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, there'll be peace on earth. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where men are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas we'll see a land with no hungry children, no empty hand. One happy morning, people will share a world where people care. Well, someday at Christmas there'll be no tears, but all men are equal and no man has fears.
All right. So something is happening to our phone lines. They're jammed for the moment. So what we're going to do, since Cliff missing out on the fun, and him there me at evening time, I wish he was in the studio with me.
Oh,
and Siobhan.
really?
Yes, you are.
No.
Because you're up there spy power. Let's, Cliff, I want to play just one more song, but two versions. The original and the cover. Well, one of the covers. I'm going to play the cover first because it's a Yardman do it. The outstanding Boris Gard. When I was a little boy, I always wanted the afro like Boris Gard. The afro, you know? Let's hear the meaning of Christmas by Boris.
C is for Christmas, the season of good cheer. H is for happiness, to last you through the years. R is for respect, that each and all should show in this holy season, wherever you may go. I is for indulgence, to know how far to go. S is for Santa Claus, the children all do know. T is for toys, for little girls and boys. Around the world, where'er they be, he'll find them joyfully. M is for manger, the place where he was born. A is for angels who watch from...
All right, so we're going to interrupt Boris Gardner so that Milton can talk to Cliff. Good evening, Milton.
Good evening,
yes,
Milton.
Mr. Chris and Mr.
George.
Davis.
Yes, Milton.
Mark Shield. When me a man like them, they talk, you know. Why me just know the Jamaica police shot off a lot of intelligence. That's what. Anyway, the crime scene, sir. Some people say that a crime scene is a place where a crime has been committed.
Yes.
So after 5 weeks, saying something?
Yes, I'm saying yes. Where a crime has been committed, yes?
Yes. So after 5 weeks now, that place has gonna be declared now as a crime scene.
Well, it's
and
hardly.
He was right. The amount of contamination will go another place there. So what kind of investigation can go on after 5 weeks, huh?
Well, you did hear him say that if the protocols were followed, pictures would have been taken and things would have been recorded as to what was at the scene and how the scene was. So they're going to have to lean heavily on that because it's not a guess game now. It is a crime scene. The whole house is a crime scene.
After 5 weeks. And again, more time when I see undertaker's assistant, then generally carry their own sheet, you know. So when them go for a car, the car, then they dress, woman or the man in pants and shirt, generally. But somebody get 3 shots and none of them never detect say something amiss. So I think this one. Hello?
Yeah, man, those are the questions we're asking, Milton.
Yes, and I think this one is right for an inquest. It's going to be a coroner inquest. This one of the inquest will be in this one.
No, man, because this is a murder investigation. No, say bigger than that.
Oh, so it won't be an inquest?
A coroner's inquest doesn't attend to matters concerning murder, homicides. No.
Okay. The Pope, no, sir. The Pope look like saying I move contrary to the Bible, you know. He look like saying no, say. I laugh, big man.
Because it's funny.
Yes. No,
it's contrary to the Bible.
No religious leader knows the original cause and effect of man and nature predate the religion, you know. Them know deep down in them heart, you know. Right? But through society, them have say, you know, and they want all certain status in society. They are pretending. So it looks as if Pope Francis doesn't decide to pretend any longer. I'm not advocating for homosexual to come with equal status with anybody else, as Mr. Davis was saying to Monsignor Richard.
No, Archbishop Richards.
You should maintain that standing on Mr. Davis, despite the fact that Mr. Ian Richard tried to downplay it. You must maintain your stand on it, you know. The homosexual officials said that they might give them a lesser status than the rest of people. Then.
Oh, right, which is the point I'm making, because I'm saying, just from strict reading of the section I quoted for Archbishop, it would be reasonable to come away with that. That look, hold on there. You are giving me it's like you are drink a red stripe and me I drink a red stripe light. You understand? Or Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke.
Yes,
you understand? Yeah.
Yeah. And I heard the watchman, 7 o'clock, the T-Banyo station, the gentleman from Trenchtown there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go on to me can say, in the Roman under the leadership of Constantine, did a fine job in rebranding Jesus, you know.
You're on fire this evening, Milton.
Pardon me?
You're on fire this evening.
The first thing they do, you know, to them present Jesus to the Roman, they're mostly white people. That's why they portray Jesus as a white man, you know.
Well,
but Jesus was no white man.
Yeah, but it's not.
He was a white audience.
It's natural white.
They were mostly white.
Yeah, Milton, come on now. It's obvious why Jesus was portrayed as white. The men who wrote the Bible, the white man, them and the man who made the Jesus show them, the white man them too.
The word.
Yeah.
So, Mr. You said something about eater and eater, cooker and cook. Before man can learn the art of cooking, you know, cooking was art 1,000 years ago, you know. People used to eat everything raw, you know.
Eh?
Yeah, before man learned the art of cooking. Man can learn the art of cooking.
Yes. Oh.
You see that, but that thing they and I know there's some the mouth has a different function, you know.
Yes, we know that.
Anyway, big up yourself and thanks for listening.
All right, sir.
You know, before you leave me, Milton, him gone?
No, I'm still here.
You know what is the strongest muscle in the body?
Pardon me, Mr. You?
Do you know what is the strongest muscle in the body?
Strongest muscle?
Yes, in the body.
I never think of it. You want to tell us?
The tongue.
The tongue?
Yes. Have a good evening.
Listen, just before we go to the Jim Reeves, Milton raised the point, Cliff, about a coroner's inquest, and I was telling him no, because the coroner's inquest don't involve in things where it's a murder investigation, a homicide, and someone in the chat said yes. No, a coroner's inquest is held when you don't know the cause of death, you don't know the identity of the person, and you want to find out what is it that caused the death. We know what caused the death of Mrs. Silvera based on what the pathologist said. So, and this is a homicide investigation. It's gone beyond a coroner's inquest. So that's not what a coroner's inquest is. There are two distinct procedures. Right? Mm-hmm. All right. So, we could play the Jim Reeves now, Andrew. Come on, man. Sure.
People must to my bed. They're the YouTubers, so must go.
Go to bed.
I'll go have a bed.
C is for the Christ child, born upon this day. H is for herald angels in the night. R means our Redeemer. I means Israel. S is for the star that shone so bright. T is for three wise men, they who travel far. M is for the manger where he lay. A's for all he stands for. S means shepherds came, and that's why there's
One of the greatest ever.
Hey, when you talk about voice, you know.
Oh, silky.
Murder.
Silky.
But you know the thing though? I don't know if it's good or bad. But if when I say it to you, you're going to agree with me even though you've never thought about it before. You see I'm presumptuous? I associate Jim Reeves' voice with Sunday.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Sunday morning to be precise.
Yeah, because we grew up with it on a Sunday.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Jim Reeves on a Sunday.
Yeah, man.
That was a staple.
That man a voice, man. Anyway, West, good evening. Good evening.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, man.
Any better now?
Clear.
All right. Yeah, I was listening. Of course, everything's a nation of miracles. I listen. I love it. Yeah, I was listening to the bishop this evening as you were speaking to him as it relates to the dictate from the Vatican. But I don't find it strange or surprised as to how he presents it, because remember, George Cliff, that the Pope see himself as God and consider himself as infallible. And for those who worship and understand when himself infallible, he's sinless and can't do nothing wrong and whatever.
Stick up in, West. Stick up in. Are you sure you're speaking in general terms about Pope's past? Because I don't think this Pope behaves this way. Because what you're saying, I would agree with you, for every other Pope except Francis.
But remember, George, can a leopard change his part?
The thing is that Francis don't behave like a leopard. That's the point.
No, but really?
Yeah, man. Look at Francis's record. Look at Francis's record, West, and you'll see what I'm saying.
George, you know that Pope Francis is a Jesuit?
Yes.
And what would be his difference between him as a Jesuit and another Jesuit? They're all the same.
But I'm just saying that in terms of, as I said, generally the point you're making is I'm taking the point, except that this Pope doesn't see himself in the way that certainly John Paul, for instance, saw himself. I know, what was Ratzinger's name, Cliff? Pope Benedict the 16th. Yeah. Francis is different from all of those guys.
Yeah, man. It will be different because we're all different. But you have people that work on the scene. You see, somebody who trusts and believes in God should not condone or condemn a homosexual. Because one thing, we all do sin, and everybody has a different fault, and condemnation is not for man to do. Right? But you have to understand that what God curse, no man can bless, and what God bless, no man can curse. So the Pope can say anything he wants to say in the world. Remember, George, when the Roman Catholics, when they're trying to change, of course it's not change. When they're trying to change time from sunset as it relates to Genesis, from sunset to sunset to a new day, they are changing it from midnight, 12 o'clock midnight until 12 o'clock midnight. The Bible don't teach that, and the world follow after that, and the world work with that. Remember now, the Bible dictates, right? And the Bible dictates, of course, they believe that they are above the Bible. They believe that they are above the Bible. The Bible the Bible have one sacred day of rest, the Sabbath, the seventh day. They create when they come up with Sunday, not as sacred, but a day of worship. We suppose worship is an everyday thing.
Yes.
But a sacredness is a day that is set apart from everything else.
Yes.
They are the one who change these things. So when Pope come in with these things, I said that he's coming with this. Let me tell you something. The red stripe light and the red stripe light will soon become the same red stripe. Trust.
And that's the problem.
It will. If you notice when you see a board come out of the box, he is not at top speed. Right? But when it comes into the finishing line, gun speed. Right? So it is just testing the water and see how you operate. But of course the whole world like a one down run off 5 place. It never change. Bible can't wrong, It never change.
Hear you, West.
So it's I say where I go.
Yeah, man.
But one question I would like to ask, Cliff.
Yes, sir.
I am not for the murder of anybody, right? It doesn't matter how wicked you are. But I heard a cry consistent about the massacre what Israel is carrying on down in Gaza. But I don't hear anybody talking about, nobody applying pressure to them to release the hostages. Who is crying out for release? We hear the cries strongly. Stop the killing. But what about release? Where are the voices for the release?
Well,
Nobody's calling to Hamas.
Well, yes, sir. The UN Secretary General Guterres has said it.
Yeah.
Yes. The UN General Assembly, the Security Council have all said it.
Consistently.
Yeah. Well, what has happened since October 27? We are now at December 18, almost 2 months. Yes. What Israel has been doing in the massacre that's taking place of women and children has stirred the conscience of the world.
And Hamas don't feel it.
Of course Hamas is feeling it.
Then why not release the people then?
And the question is, do you, as a free and democratic society, as Israel is, going to allow the terrorists to bring you to a place where you lose your moral legitimacy? Huh? When Biden, the staunchest ally, has had to be warning Israel, stop it, because you are heading for a strategic defeat. In other words, you may win the war. You may win the battle but lose the war.
Cliff, tell us something. These are
it cannot be. We cannot, as a global community, sir, continue to see so many women and children being killed. And then there was another piece of information that was highlighted in our report this evening.
Yeah.
Since October 7, when the war was paused for 5 days? How many hostages were released? Well over 50. The war has not resulted in any of the hostages being released. We know that war, there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. The time for peace is now. What we're seeing with the mass murders taking place on a daily basis, sir, the hostages are now being killed by Israeli friendly fire and they're not being released.
This day's war is an organized war here.
Is what?
They're organized war. There are people behind
Frankly,
this war.
I believe the war is being engendered by people who are trying to save their political skin, i.e. Benjamin Netanyahu.
Any other pope get up tomorrow man and said, done it. I hate that.
No, sir.
That won't happen. In fact, he said it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He said it yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't have those powers again, Papa.
No.
That one time.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, man.
Good night.
All right. Good. You know, so Sharon in the chat, Sharon has been asking me to play the Boney M Christmas Carol. Sharon, I can't play that Boney M. Then I'm tune up, I'm going to start my Friday program. What's wrong with the lady? Calm yourself, man.
You remember when that came out in 79, 78? It was the most popular.
Long time ago. In
Bethlehem.
Big tune. And that me going to play Friday. Run this segment of the show, sir. No. We're playing Boney M. Stick to your thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I understand. You can't come back up the money to play Boney M. We're not playing Boney M tonight.
You are saving for Friday.
Friday we are saving tune for.
Then play it again Friday?
No, it's not going to be the same.
Oh, dear.
Yeah? Me and my people have a special thing going on Friday. We don't want you to come mash it up.
All right.
Good.
All right.
Anyway, play
him tomorrow morning.
You can't play anything you want with nothing nationwide at 5. That's the point. Play the ear number for me there, Andrew.
The glad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues.
My baby's gone. I have no friends to wish me greetings once again. Choirs will be singing silent night, Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come on for Christmas. Please come on for Christmas. If not by New Year's night. Send salutation. Sure as the stars shine above. This is Christmas. Yes, Christmas, my dear. The time of year to be with the one you love. Oh, won't you tell me you never move wrong? Christmas and New Year will find you home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain. I'll be happy, happy.
Yeah, man. Cliff, they say stiff like Chevron.
Me? No, sir. No, sir. Places.
It's what to get Cliff to eat. And the little selfish something we thought what no man something the right this evening. If Cardi agree to write to my name, change.
For what? It's time for us to say good evening. Monday evening. Want to say thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, our technical Andrew Anderson, members of the news and production team. Thank you so much. And of course, our callers and our YouTubers. Thank you so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm George Davis.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
This Christmas, give your family the gift of relaxation with the Singer Family Getaway. November 23 to December 31 and spend $20,000.